off. Today it like got so hot in San Diego. If any of you are down here, it like just hit summertime. So I'm probably gonna be like fanning myself and like might have to go get a fan during our break. Um, cool. So what we're gonna dive into today is basically, and there's a few people still popping in and joining. So there's basically 3 keys that I've discovered to be able to have a 5-figure launch successfully. And also, like, the main thing that gets in our way and has gotten in my way and my clients' way is usually like pieces of self-sabotage. So I'm gonna really give you guys some tools and strategies to be able to get through that self-sabotage that just naturally comes up when you are starting or scaling your business. So I have what I call the Soulful Strategy Launch Method that I'll be sharing with you all. And I'll break that down in just a bit. But whenever I'm starting any sort of call, and I'm kind of giving you guys like a little like insight too around what I do with my clients. Before we get into any strategy or anything like that, like we need to just like drop into our energetic space. So go ahead and just close your eyes, bring your feet to the floor, and let's just take a few moments here to ground yourself into your own energy. So just tuning into your breath. Every exhale, releasing anything that you're bringing with you to the call, and also releasing any to-do list, anything that you have to do after this call. Just let that stress melt away. Breathing in through the bottom of your feet, connecting to the earth, and you're grounding. Allow that inhaled breath to travel up the front of your spine, bringing energy, clearing, and light. And then as you exhale, releasing your breath through the top of your head, out to all that is above you. And we're going to use this breath to just circulate some energy, to connect the heaven and the earth, and to be that center point for that connection. So you can imagine a figure 8, and you are the center of that figure 8. As you inhale, breathing energy and light up through the earth, through your feet like a figure 8 down below you. Allow you to be the center point as your breath goes up the front of your spine. And as you exhale, allow the energy to travel up and around the top of your head, completing the figure 8. Uniting spirit and the physical. And just take a moment here to continue breathing and see if there's an intention that emerges. What's your intention for being here? What would you like to receive from this call? What would you like to walk away with? Or how would you like to feel? Just taking one last breath as you connect with one breakthrough that you would like to have during our time together. We'll take one final breath, just connecting us all together, hearts all around the planet, from different countries, different ages, different backgrounds, and just connecting with one another as a soul family, as a tribe of light beings, bringing evolution, magic, wisdom to the planet. And opening up your eyes once you feel complete. Awesome. So I would love to hear, because I do have a plan and the structure that I'll be taking you all through, but I also really want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want out of this call. So go ahead and just type in the chat, what is one thing you would like to receive a breakthrough around today? If anyone needs help finding the chats at the bottom. Some more focus. Get to know me. Breakthrough around self-limiting beliefs and alchemy with my business. Get to know my work. Have a quantum leap. Ooh, now they're coming in fast. Okay, how to eliminate self-doubt and self-sabotage. How to incorporate my different ideas and interests and combine them into an offering for others. Trying to determine where to put my energy into a side hustle, which one to pursue. More ease and comfort in sales and communication. Doing things in alignment and ease. Identifying the steps to a big picture vision and feelings. Improvement on self-sabotage, make some mad money. Clarity of my life purpose. Embodiment of divine wisdom and prosperity. The courage and clarity to take action steps in beginning. Ooh, these are good ones. I always love to do this because I think like through you all actually getting to know each other as well, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got some people like on my team, they're in similar spaces, right? You could probably relate to a few of the other breakthroughs that were on here. There's a few more coming in. The clarity of my divine calling and specific direction, alignment with true and total abundance, inspiration to develop new ideas and projects. Awesome. All of this stuff we're going to be going over. So you are in the right place. Okay, so I would love to hone in on and really make a pretty big blanket statement here around your business is service. So the more that you can be tapping into that and connecting to that, the easier literally every single step of this process will become. So the 3 things that I want to take you all through is number 1, own your brilliance. Number 2, connect with clarity. And number 3, have the strategies to rock your business. So I'm curious, you know, for you, I want to get you into kind of some dreaming and visioning. What would be possible if you knew how to host consistent 5-figure launches? What would be possible? And I want you to just think of that, and maybe you can jot down a few ideas. Throughout our time together, there will be some questions that I ask and you can kind of just take some notes on. And there will also be some questions that I'll ask and then I'll actually give you, you know, a certain amount of time to go through them. So it's at your own free will, you know, dive in, play as full out as you would like. What I'm providing you here, you all are aware of this, but this is exactly the same stuff that I take my clients through. So dive deep, you know, like take a hold of this opportunity. I really would love to see, you know, some epic success stories come out of this. The idea is that you're able to really like take some pieces, put them together during our time together, and then be able to have a plan to actually put it into action from here. So I want to share a little bit about my story. I know most of you in some sort of way. I think probably half of you know my story, half of you don't. So I'll just go quickly into this. So grew up as an artist, very much had that mentality of, okay, I'm gonna be a struggling artist for the rest of my life. I'll just surrender to that and know my role here on the planet. Right. And so grew up as an artist, as a performing artist, went to school for dance. I think a lot of you can relate. I know there's a lot of creatives on this call. And there was a moment where I was actually, my job for the first year out of college was to play on the street. So my job was literally like making pennies, going from city to city all around the country, just performing music. And I was actually reminded of this one specific moment I had because I went on a trip like 2 weeks ago, and we ended up going through Vegas. And I walked down this one street, and I was like, this memory came up of one of the last times that I was busking and playing music on the street, because I literally stood there for 2 hours and I made 2 pennies, guys. 2 pennies. And I remember just crying afterwards. And it was hot. It was like in the middle of summer. I had literally was pouring my soul out to whoever would walk by. And I literally had 2 pennies in my guitar case. I couldn't even believe it. And so by the end of that, I was like, I need to figure this out. Like, I need to figure out some business skills, because like my art deserves to be heard. I have a message that I like really want others to hear, and it wasn't like I was super clear on what that message was. I was just like, it's love. Like, I just want to share that, and I just felt so disempowered with the knowledge and information that I had around business. And so it totally like spun me into this new direction of like, okay, let me figure out what to do. There was definitely some personal stuff going on at the time too. I had a lot of self-sabotaging things happen. Long story short, ended up driving my car off of a cliff, deciding like I didn't really want to be here anymore. Like, this was that much of a struggle that it was not even worth me like fighting and doing this. And so off goes the car, and literally, talk about a huge wake up at like the bottom, my literal rock bottom at the bottom of the canyon, where I realized like, hey, we're all here for a reason. I got to step it up. Like, it is time for me to step it up and to figure this out. There's no more excuses, no more blaming other people. Like, this is my life. And if I'm not liking the results I'm getting, I need to figure out how to shift those. So that's when my spiritual and personal journey, personal development, spiritual quest, like really took full gear and became the forefront of my life. After working with mentors and traveling around and shamans to, Eastern to Western medicine, like all the things, I started passing forward the information that I had. So I was leading women's circles and doing women's empowerment work and all of that. Started a business all around, it was called Global Goddess at the time, how to be a global goddess, how to, bring empowerment and love into your life, forgiveness, self-healing, and then share it with others. And it grew pretty fast. So within 2 years, people started asking me like, Ray, how are you doing this? Like, we want your business tips. Like, let me know what's going on. So that's kind of what shifted the direction into business coaching, which is what I'm currently doing. And so, I've discovered what works, what doesn't. It's been a totally bumpy ride. It's been, totally wild. And also now my business is at a place where I can help others create, five-figure launches, creating 6-figure businesses. And it is just so, so cool to be able to be of service in this way, and to really just be like, all right, like, let me pass the baton here to you guys and see what you create. Something that I think is important to keep in mind is we never know how far our ripples reach, So there's people that I'll be talking about during our time together that have no idea that I'm even talking about them. I don't even remember their names, but they're like such, strong influences for these different moments in my life. And so what I hope to pass forward to you is to allow these stories to inspire you to then be able to have people, maybe 5 years down the line, actually thinking about you as that person that they don't even remember your name or anything, but they're like, that person changed my life because of how you show up in the world. How does that sound? Do you guys feel like you're in the right place? I just want to do a little check-in. Okay, cool. Awesome. Because there's nothing as great as being of service and being able to like fulfill your life purpose here on the planet. And guess what? Your life purpose is going to continue to change. It's not like one solid thing that we like know all the time. So, but being able to do what you know is your life purpose in that moment is like the most fulfilling way to live life. And I know that you're all here to like fully experience life, not just be observers. So I want to like honor you for that. Okay, so now let's get into a little bit of like the structure and the plan that we have here. So really like this 4 hours is for you to get like packed with valuable information and tools, so that way you can walk away with a plan, a timeline for your launch, know who your launch is for, come up with themes and a title for your launch, and also know all that is needed to make this launch super successful. Does that sound good? This is like jam-packed. Literally, when I was talking to my business coach and I told her I was doing this, like, I think I typed it in the email. Like, she was like, Ray, seriously? Like, are you sure you want to do it? I was like, yes. And she was like, okay, do it. But like, we were both like so excited just to like be able to share this with you all. So the plan that we're going to go through today, just so you guys know like what the timeline is going to look like, we're going to start with going into what is a launch, and I'll share my Soulful launch strategy. We'll break it down into vision and mindset to get started, how to plan a 5-figure launch. I'll bring in some current clients that I'm working with right now. Some are on the call already, and they're going to be sharing some of their tips and perspectives around how to get clarity on your offer, attract soul clients, move through mindset blocks, and how to actually like hit that 5-figure target. Because you might be like, well, Ray, you did it, but like, how am I going to do it? And trust me, we'll go into that. But I think it would be helpful to just see some other perspectives and people that are using like literally this exact strategy. And then we're going to come up with your themes and titles, so that way you can walk away with those. And then at the end, I will, like if this is totally resonating with you, then I really do want you to stick around to the end, because I'll extend an opportunity for you to get even more clear on this topic in a strategy session with me, like after this call. So on that, I can help you clearly define what that offering is, the back-end offering for your launch, and how to sell it. So after that, we'll do Q&A. I know it's kind of like a long thing. There's going to be a 20-minute break in the middle. So it's jam-packed, but you guys are going to be walking away like, I want you to feel like superhumans, and also kind of like, all right, like time to get to work. This is awesome. So does anyone have any questions? If you do, go ahead and just write them into the chat, and I'll kind of keep my eye on those as well. And this is for like all throughout. Like, I really want you that are here to be getting the support you need to like make this actually happen. I wasn't thinking that I was gonna be giving this recording out, but there are like literally 10 people that have been begging me to give them the recording because they couldn't be here for like family reasons or traveling and stuff. So I may end up giving them the recording, but the benefit, you know, to being here is really that you get that I can answer any questions that you have. So awesome. So let's go ahead and get started with like, what is a launch? I know like we're talking about a launch, but like really, what is it? The easiest way that I can describe what a launch is, I want you to think of it as a party, like an opening party. So imagine that, and I'll kind of use this reference of a shop. A lot of you are probably more so thinking about doing an online launch, but really this method that I'm going to teach you is for online or in person. People have opened up, or like clients of mine have opened up yoga studios, started businesses, done like album book releases and stuff like that in person with this format, but also have done it online. So it's kind of up to you. But you can imagine it as like opening party. Like, you want to make it fun. You're going to invite some friends to come. You're going to, you know, have some treats, you know, that you made, maybe some like kombucha and like organic cacao balls and, you know, all the yummy things. And then you also are probably going to want to like decorate the shop a bit, right? Maybe you put like a welcome banner and some balloons in the corner. This is basically like, in a funny way, this is what I'm teaching you today, like how to do that in your online business, but also like what are the nuts and bolts that are needed to throw an awesome party. Cool. The launch is in support of the reason why the launch becomes a 5-figure launch is because you have a back end offer that you are then offering to your people. And like, to be transparent, like that's what I'm going to be sharing with you all. You know, it's like I have another offer that I'm like, hey, if you guys want to, like, if you want more support, if you like what I'm doing and you feel like this will help you, like I can show you exactly how I can help you. We can map that out. This is exactly what you can be creating in your own launch, where you throw a party and then you have something on the back end. And the cool thing is like, it doesn't matter. Like the party is going to be so cool that it doesn't actually matter what's happening on the back end. Does that make sense? I've actually had a client, Tyler, she's on here, and you'll hear from her later. She was like, while she was creating her launch, and she had an awesome 5-figure launch just a few months ago, so you'll be able to hear about that. When she was creating her launch, she was like, I don't even care if anyone's watching because I'm having the best time of my life. Like I feel so aligned, so of service. And if one person like gets moved and like, if this helps one person, like I've done my job. So that's really the energy that I want you all to be like thinking about and tuning into as we're kind of getting into some of the strategy as well. The steps that I'll take you through all build upon one another. So you do want to like definitely stick around so that way you can get to the last step, because that's where you'll really like get something tangible to take away with you. And so I'm just going to do a screen share to show you what the Soulful Launch strategy is. This will be the easiest way. One second. Feel free to take a photo of this if you'd like. So this is the Soulful Launch strategy. So there are 6 steps. We have vision, planning, align, attract, deliver, and sell. These are the 6 important pieces that you need to go through to have a successful launch. So I'll kind of just break this down. These 3 that are at the top that are highlighted, this is what we're going to be going over today. Of course, like if I could, I would give you all everything. But again, like even to give you all that I am in 4 hours, like this is still just scratching the surface, but it will be enough for you to take action on. So to start off, we have vision, and this is getting clarity on the what. We'll go into why mindset is important, how to become visible and confident in your launch, go into why you should hold a launch, why you, why now, why your goals, and awareness of what's in the way. The second thing we'll go into is planning, how it will all come together. So this is where we connect your why to a tangible goal. We set a timeline, set your launch dates and the numbers that you want to be hitting. This is also where we'll go into clarity around the back-end offer. And then I'll give you like list of technology that you'll need to make it super seamless. The third piece is align your mission to, or align your message to your soul client's desires. So this is where you'll get clarity on knowing who your launch is for. You'll get clarity on your launch conversion event title and themes. I say conversion event, we can also replace that with the party, okay? And then create an enchanting message for your soul client and build launch assets. So again, I'll give you a list of the launch assets that you need. This is invaluable. Like if I had this in my first launch, and I'll give you like a story of what happened during my first 5-figure launch as well. Oh my gosh, like I can't even imagine what would happen compared to what did happen. The next steps that you would go through are to attract partners and soul clients to join you. So imagine in terms of partners, if you're having a party, you might invite your best friend and be like, hey, best friend, like you're really good at singing that one Celine Dion song. Can you come and sing it during my party? Similar vibe. Like you think of someone that has something that would be really fun to share in addition to what you're doing and bring them along to create more value for all of your participants. So this is where we go into kind of marketing, being able to market to build your audience. And then what I really shared here, these last 3, this is what I take my clients through as well. So I have different post and like questions that help create post. So that way they have all the posts set up for their launch in advance. They know exactly what they're going to be posting and why. And it intentionally helps you build your tribe and then promote and then launch it and then go through the sales process. So we don't have time to go into that today, but I will kind of give you the outline of it. And then you deliver a life-changing experience basically by saying like, yeah, okay, I'm delivering something that I know the ins and outs of. Let me share it with you. And then being able to sell your service. And I have a process called Sacred Sexy Sales because I really believe that sales should be, first of all, sexy. Like a lot of times sales feels like terrible in our bodies and we're like, I have to go on a sales call, and you're like calling the person and you're like wincing at the same time. Like sales does not have to be like that. Even though I know that that's what I experienced, especially in the beginning of my business. And then they are sacred. Like there's a component of having it be a divine meeting with you and your client because they're ready to take your information or your wisdom and help transform their own lives with it. So it's really powerful process. So does that sound good to everyone? Are you liking what you're seeing so far? Okay, cool. So we'll go through those first three. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. And like the way that I teach, I love sharing like like what's happening that you guys are seeing, like the performance of it, but I'll also share like what's happening like in the back of my mind, because I think that's like one of the best ways to teach. So I literally just looked at the time and I got so excited. I don't think I've ever done this before, but it was literally 12:31 when I looked at the time, and on my plan, it was like go into vision at 12:30. Yes! I love structures. Okay, let's move on. So, vision. We're going to be talking about clarity on what is that launch? So again, we're going to go in. Let's start off with why mindset is so important. And really the main thing is that like no strategy, unfortunately, will be able to work without your mindset being on your team. And so I say this from experience of spending thousands of dollars on strategy courses, meaning courses that teach you how to do Facebook ads or marketing or this or that, like courses that are purely strategy, like literally they go in one ear and out the other. And I've seen this with multiple people that I've worked with, talked with tons of colleagues of mine that are doing the same stuff, and it just doesn't work. So that's why we have to do mindset. It's one of those things that are daily. It's a daily practice to continue to get into that zone of clarity, of alignment and congruency with you and your mind and your visions and like your game plans as well. There's a big difference between launching from flow and launching from force. When your mindset is on your team, it will start to oh, thanks for letting me know. I just saw that there's a few people waiting in the waiting room. There we go. They popped in now. So if your mindset is on your team, then you'll be launching from a place of flow. Like things will just start working. It's going to be a lot easier. Of course, when you're launching, you're doing something new, right? Either you've never launched before, or you're launching and you're wanting to hit a new goal, So it's always going to be something uncomfortable and new. So the more ease and the more flow that you can bring into it, just the better it will be. And everyone on the other side will experience that as well. When you're releasing a launch from scarcity, all of a sudden it becomes really forceful because it's like, I have to hit these goals. I have to hit this number. Otherwise my life is going to fall apart and like all this stuff. Like, even if that is the situation, your mind cannot be there because you're going to be self-sabotaging yourself. You're already you're prepping for it to be like this stressful, intense thing. And it really should just be fun. Again, like always come back to that party mentality. Like it's a party, it's fun. You have your own business for a reason. Like you decided not to work for someone else and build up someone else's dreams because you believed in yours. Like you should just celebrate that. You know, like that's super, super awesome. And I'm all for like helping other people build their dreams as well. So, you know, it's just the balance of the two. I've just seen people decide to build someone else's dream when it's in their heart that they want to build their own. And so that's kind of where that last statement came from. Because after I said it, I was like, wait, well, some people, they actually love doing that. And then that's super awesome. Listen to your soul's calling. And when you launch from this place of flow, that actually is when you're tuned into that space of service and also that space of abundance. And it's magnetic. It happens immediately. You'll hear from some of my clients that have experienced this. It's almost part of this, like, it's the energetics. Like literally clients crawl out of like closets in the woodwork because you are energetically ready and open to holding them in that space. So I want to share my story of having my first 5-figure launch, because you heard kind of the first part of my story. So fast track to me having the first part of my business, Global Goddesses, and I'm giving like offerings that are anywhere between $100 to like $400. Like that was kind of the range that I was playing in. Definitely had good amount of clients, but not like a ton. Honestly, a lot of them were on trade. I bet a lot of you can relate to that. You're like, oh, I'll just trade my services, oh, whatever, you know, so trading either partial or full, you know, just because you want to give. And like, that's a totally valid and awesome reason. And it's actually a great way to build up, you know, your confidence in what you're doing. But at some point that needs to shift. You cannot like continue to build a big dream off of trades. At least not now in our current economic system. Maybe in a few years that will shift. So going back to my story. So basically it was a new year and I was actually attending a San Pedro ceremony. So this is a plant medicine, and it was held by this powerful shaman that I had known for a while. And it was this really powerful ceremony. I love sharing about my journey with plant medicine because it really did help shift a lot of things for me. I don't think everyone has to do it or anything like that, but like I think sometimes our soul gets called to that. And so I did, and I went to this ceremony and I sat with the intention of experiencing more love. And what I didn't realize was with that intention, I was also bringing forward this experience of lack of love, specifically because I felt like I was delivering so much of my services and giving so much. And I really felt like I was depleted in how I was filling up my own cup. And so this got shown to me during that ceremony, and I ended up sitting with a soul sister for a while. And she, you know how sometimes, again, this is one of those moments where sometimes someone just says something and it finally sticks, it finally lands. So for what she was saying to me was finally landing. She was saying, Ray, you're amazing. You have something really cool to offer. You're going to be so successful. You just got to put it out there. Like you're so ready. You're so ready. You've got this. And like people have said that to me before, sure, but it was like it just kept going out the other ear. And finally it just stuck inside of me. And I was like, instead of being like, oh, you're right, like, or like, no, don't, that's not me, like being apologetic, I was like, you're right. Like, I am ready. Let's do this. And all of a sudden, like this energetic alignment, like stuck, and it happened. And so like, I want you all to possibly, this will be one of those times where you can be like, oh, like something actually energetically shifted for me today. Like I want, like this event is already on your calendar. So it's an easy way to remember the date, right? Of like, oh my gosh, that was the date when like something new came in and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I don't know how, but like, it's going to happen. So that happened. And then it was a week later, I got invited to a 5-figure launch event. Can you guys believe it? Literally, that's why I call it this, is because it was so personally powerful for me. And it was the first time, because I was already feeling like, okay, I'm ready. And then someone was like, do you want to come to this 5-figure launch? I was like, 5-figure launch? What? I never even knew that was possible. Like, what are you talking about? You know, it like totally like blew my mind. And it gave me that tangible goal that I could connect with how I was feeling energetically. And I was like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And so for me at the time, what I didn't do was all the things that I'm going to teach you guys. I literally spent the next 2 weeks, I wrote a list of all the women that I wanted to be my client. I was like, oh yeah, this friend, and like, oh, that girl I met at yoga. And like, I made a list and I was like, okay, I'll teach them about this, this, and this, like my favorite things that I love that have helped me in my life. And guess what I did? No plan, no nothing. I was like, oh, I'll charge $1,500. It'll be 3 months. And I was like, okay, cool. I got everything I need. Call them up. And I literally just called them one at a time. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, how's your boyfriend? Do you want to do this thing with me? Like, I'm gathering the most epic sisters right now. Like, it's going to be super fun. Yesterday, Mariana, we were, another client of mine, she was like, what was your promise to them? I was like, I didn't even know what a promise was. I like didn't have any business structure at all, you know, but they just felt my energy. They felt how excited I was. They felt that I knew what I was talking about because I had been through it myself. And I was just like, I was bold. I'm like, are you in? Like, what's up? Okay, send me the payment on Venmo, whatever. Like, literally no plan, no contracts, like nothing. And that's how I had my first 5-figure launch. The reason why I share that story is because everything that I'm going to share with you is going to make it so much smoother and it'll be so helpful. And if you just have the vision and if you know who you want to work with and what you want to share, like that is enough. You can do this. So like biggest takeaway, like just know that you can do it. You're all here because I've seen part of your work or I've seen like pieces of who you are. We've had conversations. I know that you all can actually pull this off. And sometimes we just need to hear someone else say that as well. So kind of a funny story around my 5-figure launch, right? It was sort of unexpected. So I started to like dissect and what that would look like. So I want to go into your mindset now because you got to hear a little bit about my own story, but I want you to notice where you shrink or get scared or feel less than or feel contracted while we're talking about this launch, okay, throughout the whole process. So, you know, this is going to help you understand what's having you sabotage this sort of next level of leadership that you're all desiring to step into. And, you know, remember that the work that you will do will change someone's life forever. And you never know about how far the ripples are going to go out. Katie, the 5-figure launch. Yeah, so basically meaning that you hold a launch where you're giving an offering and it hits $10,000 or more. $10,000 would be the 5-figure spot. Thanks for your question. I definitely want you all to have clarity. So any questions that come up, just let me know. So I have some journaling questions that I want you all to write down. So I'm just going to put these into the chat. Okay, so the first one is, what makes me feel different than others? For instance, this is around like, oh, well, Ray can do this launch or Ray can have this business, but I can't, you know, or so-and-so can do this, but I can't. So what makes you feel different than others? Number 2 is, what makes you think that you can do something that they can't? Meaning, something that I had to really overcome was realizing like, well, if I can do this 5-figure launch, but like, I don't know if other people can. I had to figure out what was in my mind saying like, oh, all these other people, not even clients at the time, but how come when I look at other people, I think that I just got lucky and that they can't do it. So working through your own mindset around that, like with your offering, whatever like changed your life or impacted your life, you know, maybe like it's yoga or energy work or coaching or whatever it is, what makes you think that that can transform your life, but you can't pass that over to someone else to have that transform their life? And then last one is, I want you to write down 10 reasons why your offerings and services are valuable. Okay, so I'm going to give you all, let's do 5 minutes to go into this journaling. And I'm going to put on some journal music. Yeah, the questions are above, Mariana, right above your comment. And just start to wrap it up. You can always go back to these as well. I would actually challenge all of you to turning those 10 reasons or however many you had into 100. I saw some good eyebrow raises on that one. Do it, do it. I challenge someone to do it for 1,000. Love it. So a lot of this stuff you'll be able to work through, I want to give you kind of some structures, and then you'll of course have to do some more work as you move through, and like there will be a lot of nuggets that you'll take and probably want to think about or reflect on after this process. So some ways that a launch can be successful, I want to kind of share a few key pieces, are to have a rocking strategy, be so excited about what you're offering, know that you're delivering exactly what your soul client is looking for, have energetic alignment around what you're teaching, and know it in and out. So for instance, I want to share some kind of stories of people, especially around the energetic alignment piece. I had a client, Ching. I don't think she's on here. No. So Ching, literally, we did 3 calls together. And so in our first 3 weeks of working together, she came to me, she wasn't feeling energetically aligned with what she was actually offering. And so she had hit a total lull in her sales for over 6 months. And she was just like, literally, I've not made a sale in like that long. And like, this is like my only income. Like, this is not good. So we did a lot of work realigning her energy into a more aligned offer. And literally within those 3 calls, 3 weeks, she landed a client for $21,000 with that new offer because it felt so good to her. Like, that was a huge win. Another client, a branding client that I have, Cassie, she realigned her energy after our first call together, and literally, because this is like the first steps that I go through with someone, literally right after that first call, she signed a new client. Like an hour later, I get a message from her. I was like, oh my gosh. So like this stuff works really fast if you allow it. So I definitely want to like put that into your fields. Like, again, if you're feeling like, okay, I want to do this, but like maybe that's something I'll do in like a year, or maybe that's something I'll do in 6 months. Like, I want to challenge you to shortening that timeline and actually collapsing it. So that way you're right here, that like maybe 6 months or a year from now is here, and you close it up and center it into the present moment. Like, we can do that. It's kind of wild. Katie asked, 21,000. Wow. What kind of offerings are we speaking of here? That's huge. She was, her offering was for 6 months of coaching, and she was doing a different offer before. So this was a new offer where she was helping someone tap into her feminine essence. So this is that was transformational, in the transformational space. I hope that gives you some clarity. Pretty powerful. Okay, so I want to go into how to become visible and confident in your launch. So, the purpose of a launch is to position yourself as an authority of what you do know. It gives you exposure. It's this kind of like a party. There's this energy concentration where you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like, it brings everything together. It gives you that focus. A launch also helps you with your sales, helps create bigger impact because you're able to reach more people. You can build your email list, and you can also create partnerships, because once you start to build your own audience and your own tribe, then you can connect with other entrepreneurs that are doing that. And if you like them, it's like, hey, Sam, like, I really like what you're doing, but it's totally different than me. Like, let's share with our audiences what we're doing, and maybe someone could use our help. So once you do have this launch, you kind of position yourself in a new way in the entrepreneurial world. There are different styles for different stages of your business, like different styles of launches. So not everyone understands this, and that's why a lot of people might choose a certain launch strategy and then totally fail at it, is because their business is not prepped for them to go into that strategy of launch quite yet. So I'm going to share these with you, and this is going to be really fun because I think everyone should know this. I see way too many people messing up with this piece. It would just make it so much easier. So I'm just going to do another screen share. I think this will be easiest. So these are the different types of launches. You can have like a Facebook Live series. This is really the most basic, where you're coming on, you have like some themes. This is a great way to kick off a new business or offering from the very beginning. Another good way to do something at the very beginning is to hold a summit. A summit is more work than the Facebook Live series. This is where you're bringing together other experts along with you to create this bigger theme. Some of you might know about some of my work with the Global Goddess Fest. This was the summit that I hosted for 2 years in a row when I started my business, and what helped me really get to the level that I'm at. And kind of actually it helped me build the foundation to then create the building blocks for where I'm at now. This helps you position because you bring in partners that are at a higher level than you. So you automatically get seen in their space and you get connected with their audiences. We also have challenge, masterclass, contest, PR exposure, and paid ads. All of these happen later on. You'll see kind of what you need based upon what I've written out here. So go ahead and you can take a screenshot of this if you'd like to kind of just know, like, what is that plan of action? A lot of times I do see people kind of start maybe with the masterclass, but they don't actually really know like what their ideal client is looking for. They don't really like know the ins and outs of their own messaging. And so this could be like, basically you can do all of these, but if you don't want to waste as much time, energy, and money, then I would suggest starting off with these at the beginning. Any questions around those? Okay, cool. You know, inside my program and when I'm working with my clients, I teach them the exact formulas depending on where they're specifically at. So for this masterclass, since I can't like talk with each and every one of you, what I'm gonna do is basically give you all the things that you need to let your launch be super successful, no matter like which one you choose or which stage you're at. And, you know, if you want me to help you with your launch or find your unique method that works for you, because it might be a mix. Like I think it's really important to also listen to your soul. If you're like, I really want to do a masterclass, but I'm at like this beginning level, like you can do it. You just need a plan to get there. So again, at the end, I'll share kind of the opportunity I have where we can dive deeper into that and look into like specifically where you're at and what plan would make the most sense for you to be the most successful without like wasting your time. So no matter what option you choose, there are core things that you need. So I'm going to share some like non-negotiables of a five-figure launch. And then I also want to share with you some non-negotiables of a five-figure launch and a six-figure business, because I think you all probably would be curious, if not like really excited and like be doing it to eventually have a six-figure business. So the non-negotiables of a five-figure launch, I'll just type these into the chat for ease as well, are you need supporters to help you generate leads. You need a sales plan, a perfect offer for your ideal client, so then also clarity on who that ideal client is, a clear message and outcome of your back-end offer. And then the non-negotiables of a six-figure business look like this. An engaged audience, sales skills, system to generate consistent leads, clear message for your ideal client, have a perfect offer with amazing outcomes for your client. So we'll be going into a lot of these pieces, or as many of these pieces for the five-figure launch as we can today. Um, why a launch fails is usually because, again, you're like in that space of needing versus serving. You also might be winging it, or you don't have a plan that's like exciting you. But also you might not be intimate. So while you're doing a launch, it's good to catch yourself and make sure that you're not too focused on planning the actual launch instead of connecting with an audience and speaking to them. So for instance, like if you're just planning the party, but you're not like sending out the invitations, like, well, guess what? The day of the party, there's not going to be anyone there, right? You need to keep that intimacy and those connections going. Another piece to keep in mind is it can be hard to have a launch without a successful conversion event. Again, this is the party that we're talking about, because the party draws attention to your offer and also like gets that energy behind it. So whether it's a webinar, a challenge, Facebook live streams, or a telesummit, you want to have something that's like, hey world, like here I am coming out. You can also get caught in a launch bubble. I see this happen with my clients all the time, is that they're like, I've posted my launch 5 times on my personal page, but still like no one's signing up. And it's like, well, you're in your launch bubble. You've been working on it. You've been doing all the ins and outs. You've been thinking about it. So you think that everyone else knows about it. But the thing is, everyone needs like multiple reminders. Like we're all busy. Like that was something that I had a big focus on for all of you. And I had my VA helping me because I was like, I really want you guys to be here. Like if I put this whole thing together, like I want you guys to actually get the information. So I made sure that like, you know, you had the information, then I like double checked, and, you know, you need to do that and keep that engagement going and make sure people know where to go, how to find it, what they need, all that stuff. And then this last piece, oh, it's so good. There's a launch dip. You probably have not heard about this, but so say you have your party, right? And then you have your offering, and maybe you get like, your goal is to have 10 people sign up, and you get 3 right after your party. And you're like, yeah, I got 3 on the first day. Like that means I'm totally going to get 3 the next day and 3 the next day. And this is going to be so smooth and easy. So maybe you fill it up and you get like halfway, right? And then all of a sudden, crickets, like total silence. And this is the launch dip. And it can be like death to an entrepreneur, because you're like, oh, I just put in all this work, and like, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to hit my goals. Like this totally sucks. Was this even worth it? And then you stop there. And so if you can know in advance that the launch dip is totally normal, then you'll know that it actually rises out. And if you keep going, you keep putting it out there, even if it feels like no one's listening, people are watching you. People know what you're doing, and you need to just continue putting it out there, and eventually the dip will come back up. So that's a huge piece around self-sabotaging yourself during the launch process, is giving up during the dip. Let's see, what else do I want to share about that? I think that's pretty much the bulk of it. I want to go into a little bit deeper mindset work around awareness of like what's in the way, in terms of especially like money mindset. That can kind of come up a lot. And so I invite you all to investigate like these core beliefs that you have, so that way you can heal your relationship with money. So do you feel guilty about money? Do you feel like sales is manipulative? Do you feel like making a sale is super challenging? You know, do you feel afraid of who you'll become if you have more money and if you're successful, or what will happen with your relationships? These are all things you really want to look into, because money is an amplifier. Like it expands anything that it adds to, right? So it makes you more of who you are. So you really want to check your congruency and your intentionality while doing this. And something that I hear all the time is like, charge your worth. Well, I don't really believe in that, because I think our worth is limitless. Like it's worth way more than money could ever be. So if you can start to actually separate that money does not represent your worth, it'll also be a lot easier to move through some of your money blocks. So I want to leave these journal pieces here for you all. And we'll take let's do another, like, we'll do 4 minutes here, so about a minute for each question. Okay? Does everyone see them this time? Cool. So just dive into it. Who are you afraid you'll become if you had more money? What negative thoughts do you hold around business, launches, sales, and money? Where do you hold your worthiness? What are the masks that you know that you wear that you are committed to releasing? And if you were being in your fullest soul's expression, what would your launch look like? Begin to wrap that up. So I would love to hear, maybe we can just share in the chat, was there anything that surprised you through your journaling that you've done so far? Is there anything that has come up for you? I'd love to just hear and do kind of like a little check-in on where everyone's at. Yeah, where you hold your worthiness as a thinker. Mm-hmm. All of these questions, I mean, you definitely can't answer them all like so deeply in 4 minutes, you know, but I definitely want you to take these to, again, continue pondering them. Katie, I'm wondering if you're sharing that privately to me. You can share it to everyone if you feel comfortable with it. I think it's cool to kind of share. No worries. Petra, shifting it. Yeah. I feel that I have conscious and subconscious beliefs about technology and social media being evil, like screen time being dangerous and virtual reality taking me out of present nature and being natural. And that prevents me from investing time in this process. Yeah, I totally can relate to that. Reframing what I don't want into what I do want. Yeah, you guys have your tribe here. Love it. Relate. Yeah. It's like it all comes up. Fear that money will take me away from my loves and make me unrelatable to reality. Oh my gosh, I can relate so deeply to this one. Like, that's been one of the hardest pieces around every single step of my business. Honestly, it always comes back to like, am I going to be like taken away from people I love? Like, are they going to relate to me? Am I going to relate to them still? Like, that's total real fear. Oh, Katrina. Okay, cool. Money fear, fearing that I won't be able to be responsible enough, lingering fears of sales being sleazy and tying my worthiness to showing up in my authenticity. Yeah, thank you all for sharing. These are definitely, I can relate to all of them so deeply. And I think it's just totally normal for us to have these fears come up. All right, so structures are complicated, overwhelming, and I don't want to do it. I feel you. The amazing thing is, and you know, I want to have you all share this just to relate and to connect. And I think there's a power in just being able to speak our fears and what's coming up. It's really like, I could say something about all of these around how I've overcome them, but it really is not up to me to overcome them for you. Like, you all are such powerful beings, but I think just by bringing the awareness to them will help bring some shifts. And even by just sharing it with others will bring some shifts forward. So I'm loving how we've been flowing thus far. There's one more coming in. Fear that all the time invested and money invested will not pay off and the launch could fail. Yeah, absolutely. So there's kind of two pieces that we've been talking about so far: having a structure, you know, having the plan of knowing what you're going to do, also where you're going to take people. That helps build trust and credibility. And then you have that piece around confidence, you know, really believing in yourself, in your coaching, and like your ability to perform. I say coaching in terms of like teaching, and your ability to, your belief in what you're teaching, and also your belief in your client's ability to succeed. Like, these are all key pieces. And again, you'll hear from some of my current clients that are on the call a little bit later on how they've been able to actually overcome some of these blocks that have come up and are continuing to come up, because it's not a end process. And I think that's something that I do want to highlight. It's not like you get to the end, then you're totally done and you never have to work on it again. But for now, before I bring them on and feature them, I want to go into a bit of the planning. So on how this will all come together. So again, we've kind of tuned into a little bit of the why, you know, connecting your why to a tangible goal is now the next thing that I want to do. I'm seeing in the chat, feeling hypocritical, like teaching about what I'm not perfect at. Yes, totally. This is such a normal piece that comes up, because the thing is that, like, again, are you ever going to be like that total master of something? No, like, if you're a master, then you know that there's so much more information and knowledge that you can always be learning and growing with. So the thing is, and I want to give you a visual, because this is such a common theme thing to be thinking of. I want to give you a visual that, like, here are my hands. Like, I want you to grab my hands and take my hand as I pull you into the business world for just a little bit and give you some tools to, like, join in what I've been doing. You know, like, this isn't brand new to me. Like, I've been doing it for years. So follow me, like, take my hand. Guess what? There's going to be someone else on the other side of your hand, if you're holding mine, that is going to be asking. And if you just open your hand like this, someone that is a few steps below you is going to be like, give me your hand. And they're going to grab your hand. They're going to need that hand, right? And we actually already have this in place in society. This is a normal process that we have these people that are ahead of us, and we have people that are behind us in our timelines. And we're all in different timelines with, you know, different things that we're into and that we're experts at, and experts at whatever stage we're in, you know. Do you ever remember being on the playground when you were young and there was a girl that was like, I know all about the flowers, or whatever it was, or maybe it's the guy that's like, I know everything about Legos. And like, he was the expert of his time, right? So I want you to kind of tune into a little bit of that. Love says, I always say that your power lies in the way you guide and hold space for your client. Serena Williams, coach, can't play like her, and yet his guidance and mental coaching is part of her success. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Love. So being able to set your goals and go for it is a piece of the puzzle here, right? Sometimes we don't set goals because we're scared that it's not going to happen. Like, if I set it, then like, if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be even more embarrassed, or I'm going to be even more hard on myself. So that's something that's totally normal. So let's just like take a collective deep breath and know that we can set a goal and we're not going to like kill ourselves over it, right? Like, let's release that old way of being. It's not really helpful. Launches can feel hard, you know, they can feel hard because you are committing to something. You want to get clarity. You want to be ready. You want to be organized. You want to have people to share it with. You want to know your marketing and business skills. You have to become visible. You need that confidence. You might want to host an event. Like, there's a lot of reasons why a launch can be really hard. But also, again, like, the reason why I shared my story is because, like, the strategy that I'm teaching you all is going to make it so much easier. That's why my process doesn't feel that same way. It doesn't feel like forced and pushed. Of course, there's going to be energy that you move in a certain direction, but it doesn't have to be killing you along the way. And again, you can just put yourself out there. Everything else that I'm sharing is just extra support to make it successful. So I'm going to go through a launch timeline now, and this is going to be so helpful for you all because I want you to really walk away with a timeline in place and actually a date that you're going to choose on this call. I didn't know I was going to have to choose a date on this call. You might be thinking, that's okay. If you are, like, just go for it. Let's like play the game. Like, how in the game are you with me? Like, I'm full out. I want you to meet me full out. Let's play. Let's see what happens. So you need a total of at least 6 weeks before the launch to prep. Okay. So literally, you can get out your calendar right now if you'd like. I'm going to pull out mine so I have dates. So today is July 11th. So if we need at least 6 weeks before, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. August 22nd is what I would recommend to be the earliest launch date. Okay, so you want to give yourself, and you might want to write this down. You actually absolutely want to write this down because this is not broken down anywhere else. So you want to give yourself 4 weeks of planning the launch. 3 to 4 weeks of planning the launch, okay? This is where you're planning maybe the partnerships, you're creating the themes, you're going deeper into some of the core things that I'm giving you on this call right now. You're creating your content, you're getting everything ready. After the 3 to 4 weeks of planning, then you give yourself 2 weeks of marketing. And this is Online, you can do 1 week of the first week of marketing is building up your tribe, attraction post. So posts that bring your tribe together, people that would be those ideal clients. And then the second week would be promotional post, where you're sharing about your launch. You're telling them, why they should come, why it would be awesome. So from that sort of planning, now you can figure out what your launch date is. So I'm curious, and I also want to just open up that invitation to you all to just write down your launch date right now. Just choose one and put it down on the books right now. I'll give you a moment to do that. Ooh, yeah, Bianca's jumping in hot. She's like, I'm just going to tell everyone September 7th. Does anyone else want to join that party? Jump in and claim it in front of everyone? It's not as scary as you think, I promise. Ooh, yes, we got another one. August 1st. Awesome. August 22nd. Yeah. August 29th. Awesome. August 8th. Oh my gosh, these are flying in. September 10th, August 31st, 9/9, September 26th, August 11th, August 17th. This is fun, right? You guys have like your team now too, I'll make sure that you guys are all in the Facebook group together so you can connect with one another as well. So I think this is going to be really powerful. August 23rd, your daughter's birthday. I love it. So from here, the first week of post is attracting your tribe. So doing post. So with my clients, we break this down into, like, I have prompts to help them kind of plan it, but we don't have time to go into that today. This is something that we could talk about possibly in the opportunity I have at the end. August 31st. Cool. Okay, so now what you want to do is give yourself 3 weeks of sales. So you have 3 weeks of now selling your back-end offer. And then now, if you add 3 weeks to the date that you just put on here, now you have your offering or your program launch date. Pretty cool, huh? Boom, all of a sudden you got a timeline. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, Vic's like, I'm digging this. Cool. If you would like, feel free to add in your program start date in the group if you would like to declare it. So, of course, things that you need to do, I'll give you guys a list at the very end of things that you need to do to make this realistic. August 29th. Awesome. But you will want to create, here are my notes. Okay. Create your alluring back-end offer. This is something that I can't go too deep into today. I got another one, October 1st. Awesome. Clarity on your back-end offer. So you want to really create something that has this alluring pricing and packaging. So you want to get clear on the value of the offering that you're sharing. Again, you cannot charge your worth. I'm going to share this again because that is going to get too much in the way of your energetics. Like, just look at the worth of or the value of your offering. You want to make sure that you don't charge too high or too low in the beginning because it should be stretchy, but make sure that you're charging what is appropriate to you and like the level of expertise that you are sharing, right? If you're someone that's like, I don't know, like I kind of want to raise my rates, I've already done it at this certain level, like stretch yourself, be okay with raising your rates. Eventually, you all will want to have a high-end package that will be able to give you that consistent financial security. And you'll be able to like create that package and charge the price that you want, and also be able to like connect your clients to the best results because you're able to like deliver so much to them in a high-end offer. But that really is not for everyone on this call, I'm aware of. But I know that also, like, looking at you, I'm like, there are a few of you in here that could definitely be creating a high-end offer. I'll kind of go a little bit deeper into that. Katie's asking how to clarify an offering, how to improve following, what is your main source of attendees, Facebook, personal profile, official, yeah. Yeah, so actually, I'm probably going to be, we'll be doing Q&A at the very end so I can answer like any other questions. So Katie, or I know I keep calling you Katie, but Kat, sorry about that. Keep that question and then just throw it back at me at the very end, because I might go over it. So that way we can just kind of keep streamlined. And if any of you have questions coming up, you can post them in the chat. If it's like appropriate for me to just share the answer easily, then I will. Otherwise, we'll add it into the end. So you want to find the price of your offering by working backwards. This is something that we're kind of going to do pretty fast, but you can actually do it pretty fast. A lot of times the offerings that have worked the best for me are the ones where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do this. Boom, boom, boom. I create it in like literally 5 minutes and I go for it, instead of getting into that pattern of like overthinking and like questioning and being like, I don't know, this or that. That's just like a mental game. We don't need to do that. No more games. So think about how many clients you want to be working with during this offering. Maybe it's a one-on-one service. Maybe it's a group. Think about how many clients you want to be working with and write that number down. Just whatever comes to you. Don't censor it. So now you're all here because we want to do a 5-figure launch, right? So that's at least $10,000. If you have a bigger launch or a smaller launch, that's totally welcome too. Like, choose what feels really good to you. Take that launch number, that goal, and then just divide it by the number of clients that you want. Okay, so go ahead and just do the math right now, because this will then be the price that you're going to be selling your offering at. Super simple math. Yeah, the math is how many clients you want to be working with. So figure that out. And then just get your goal, whether it's the $10,000 that you want to hit, or if it's higher or lower, that's totally cool. And just divide your goal number by the number of clients you want. And then that's the price that you'll charge. I know it feels backwards. You're like, but I don't know what I'm doing, right? It's okay. You're going to figure it out. We're going to put the pieces together. When you do it this way, you're creating from your reality, or you're creating from your dreams instead of creating from your circumstances. Things can happen in quantum leaps when you do business this way. So after you do that, then you can determine the length of the program or the offering that you have. So if you're giving and delivering something at this price tag, like what kind of outcomes is that client expecting? What kind of outcomes are they wanting from you? And then you can figure out, okay, well, how long would that take me to deliver that to them? That's how you come up with how long it is. So you can ask yourself these questions, and I'm just going to type them into the chat. This is something that you might want to just save and go into later. But these are kind of the questions that I ask myself when I'm determining the length of my offering. Okay. So again, what you'll all end up wanting to do is creating a premium 5-figure launch. So premium does not mean expensive. It means that you're delivering a powerful experience that is, intentional and detail oriented and has that energy behind it. So a premium launch is something that you all can create. A premium offer is something that some of you might be ready to create. This is what I help my clients create with their own assets and the wisdom that they currently have. So that way they can go from, not having clients or maybe just having a few to having more consistency in their business. But really, if you're wanting to create a premium high-end offer, this is only for you if you are good at what you do and you know you can help people. If you're starting, then just work on getting your clients in and like practicing your skill. Creating a premium offer is so amazing though, once you are at that level of being like, okay, like, yeah, I feel confident in what I'm sharing, because you get to go deeper into the transformation with your clients and they get to really meet you and like dive in and show up fully. But for now, for this workshop, let's use whatever your regular offering is or whatever like first came to mind. And then if you want to create a premium or high-end offer, again, we can talk about that later. Whatever your numbers are, just love them. They're your numbers. That's where you're at. It's so exciting, like it's so cool. A lot of people aren't doing this sort of thing. We don't have hundreds of people in this. Like not everyone is wanting to be of service and deliver something amazing. So I want to give you a list as well of technology that you'll need that can support you for an easier launch. This is another copy and paste that I would make sure you take. And I'll actually go ahead and just share my screen for a moment. So that way, if there are people watching the recording, then they also get these as well. I just remembered. So the technology you need, it's pretty simple, pretty basic. Okay, let me just share the screen real quick. Okay, so there you have it. How to determine the length of your offering and program and technology that you'll need. Again, I say you'll need, but also remember, I didn't have any of this the first 5-figure launch I did. It could just support you in having an easier launch. That's why it's there. Okay, I think that was long enough. Let's move on. So I want to do, oh my gosh, you guys, this is just the coolest day. I'm still on time. This is amazing. This is so amazing. You have no idea. Oh, love it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to spend, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Like I'm actually surprised I'm so on time right now. Literally 2 minutes behind. Okay, I didn't. So let's do 8 minutes of Q&A, and then we'll go ahead and we're going to take a 20-minute break just to kind of give everyone some refreshers, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, do whatever. Make sure you come back because I'm going to give you some tools on how to create the title and themes. This is kind of where we're going to go into like the what, around like, okay, I have like the structures, but like what is like the inside of it, right? So we'll go into that. So it's going to be awesome. And you'll also be able to hear some amazing, helpful tools and tips from clients that I've worked with, so that way you can get some other perspectives on this as well. All right, so let's see. Yeah, so let's go back to that question around, so clarifying your offer. Let's hold that for now, but I can talk about improving your following. It's really all about just showing up consistently. I'm thinking that you're talking about online following as well, but I'm not totally certain. But if you're talking about online, then basically, yeah, online following. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's just about showing up consistently. Really, that's first and foremost, is just sharing yourself. Of course, there are like structures and posts and different plans that you can do to like have certain posts be really intentional and like generate leads and sales and all of that, yada, yada. But we don't have time to go into all of that. Like that's what I do with my clients. But for what you guys are doing here is like, just start showing up consistently. Just share what you're up to, share, what your values are. Who are you? What's your story? If you're already working with people, even if you're working and doing trades or for free. I remember at the beginning, coaching for free all the time. And I know I have friends that do that as well. And I'm like, don't coach for free. But if you are, at least like share what those clients are up to. What are you doing? You know, like tell people about what you're doing. Start to work on your visibility. My main source of attendees, it really is a mix for me. It does come from Facebook, personal profiles, official pages. They don't get any visibility with Facebook algorithms these days. So like, don't even bother. Like if you have a VA, like a virtual assistant who can do extra things for you and like it doesn't really matter, then like sure, go ahead and have them post on your like business page, you know, just to like continue to build that. But like that's never where like there won't be that much engagement in there. Your personal page is the best way because that's also where you connect with people that you like, and you want to work with people that you like, right? Not just like totally random strangers. Although random strangers can end up becoming people that you like, that you then work with. Instagram is definitely an amazing place to also grow your following. Tyler has a kick-ass TikTok that she's been growing and has been doing really fun things with her business. Tyler's one of my clients and you'll be hearing from her. So yeah, social media is great, but I would definitely say in terms of improving your following, choose one that you want to really dial in and focus on, and then nurture that instead of trying to like do all the different ones. YouTube is another one that could be really good. I know, Jordan, you've been like rocking your YouTube channel. If anyone needs like yoga on YouTube, my cousin Jordan, who's on here, is like so good. They're so challenging. So like beware. There's some easier ones too, but
thank you.
maybe you should totally drop your YouTube channel on here. Like quarantine yoga I've been with Jordan the whole time.
I will. I'll put it in here.
Cool. Let's see, are there better outlets? Facebook algorithms prevent following from expanding sometimes. You know, here's a really funny thing about Facebook algorithms. On your personal page, I've actually had one of my coaches has a full like tech team and stuff like that. And so he actually had his whole team try and like figure out like exactly the personal algorithms, the Facebook algorithms for your personal page. And they found that there's actually like, they're not consistent. And so literally some days Facebook will hate you and no one will see your post. And some days Facebook will like you and they'll show your post to everyone. So that kind of circles back to why I say just be consistent, because you need to be so consistent that like at some point the Facebook algorithm will love you and show your stuff to people. A really good way to boost the algorithm is to like be connecting and commenting and liking on who's engaging with you. So you can totally go to my page and kind of see how I've been able to grow it. Whenever anyone comments or likes on anything I post, like I engage with them. And sure, like yes, there's like a business part that is like, okay, why I'm doing it, boost the algorithm, more people see, but also it's like you probably just want to connect with the people that are wanting to connect with you too, you know? So it's just kind of like a lot of it comes down to like being like a cool human, you know? Just like be a cool human and like build friendships, connect with people. That's the best way to grow your business. And I was going to say like, you know, a lot of people that I connect with, I also just connect with in person, you know, like people that I meet at a yoga studio or at a potluck or at an event. Like I just love connecting with them and seeing what they're about. And then we stay connected and we're friends. And it's like, who knows if they'll have a service that will help me or if my service will help them. It's just about like coming together, and then like maybe neither will connect, but you'll just be able to like be in each other's support team, you know? So just being open to connecting with others is definitely one of the best ways to improve your following. And when you have, I think sometimes we think of like, well, they're not my ideal client or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Just connect with them as a human being and be of service with what you have, because you never know, like if they're best friends with actually like the most ideal client for you, you know, you never know. So just show up in your highest at all times. which is also going to be like a messy journey. You know, it doesn't look perfect, but vulnerably in your highest and just be you. And then that's where you'll be able to connect. And like, you won't be able to find that like soul client if you're not connected to your own soul, if you're not being authentic with yourself. If you're trying to be someone else and like be someone else and put that on social media, then like you're going to attract someone else that's not actually that perfect fit. So I hope that answers some of your questions. Yeah, and then if you're at 5,000 friends, it gets super annoying. I can totally relate. You have to go back and delete people. There are ways. There's friendfilter.com, I think, or you can just look up friend filter on Google. And that's a good way to delete people that basically just have inactive profiles, because there's probably going to be like at least 500 people on there that just aren't even active on Facebook, or even like left Facebook. You know, there's not even like a picture of them, but they're still taking up that space. Do we have any other questions that came in? Any other questions people have? If so, we'll do one more. Otherwise, we'll just go into our break. Okay, let's go into a break. So we'll come back at 2 o'clock. So now it is just 19 minutes. I'm sorry, I'm a little off schedule. So I'll see you guys back here. Get some water, just, you know, refresh yourself, step outside. Feel free to just think and, you know, reflect on some of the stuff that's already come up, and I'll see you guys after. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with some amazing, amazing ladies that are on here. So I'd love to see and bring on, we have Bianca, Tyler, Mariana, and Love here, and they're all current clients of mine. And so they're going to be just kind of sharing and tuning in and dropping some wisdom bombs for you all, because yes, they're clients of mine, but they also are like just total rock stars in their own lives and what they do in their professional life and their personal lives. And it's just going to be super powerful to have some of their shares as well. So I'm just going to go through some questions, and then we'll kind of like flow with it and see what comes up. And then we might even open it up for them to ask you some questions. We'll see how much time we have. So the first question that I have for you ladies, and whoever just wants to jump in and share, go for it. So the first question I have is, what has been your biggest challenge or resistance when it comes to like stepping into this new level of leadership in your business specifically? But I think we all know, like, if you're stepping into that new level of leadership in your business, it also is going to mean that something is going to happen in your life, your personal life as well. So I'd love to just hear biggest challenges and resistance that you've experienced.
I'm happy to kick off.
Awesome. Maybe just say your name and then where
yeah, I'm Mariana Grace, and I'm from Europe. Been living in the United States for 2.5 years now. And I'm a hypnotherapist and a soul alchemist. And so I'm very familiar with subconscious limiting beliefs, and what got in the way of me stepping into this next level leadership was me getting in my own way and looking outside of me to define who I am. Believe that leadership is some sort of contortionist art, and I have to be something or do something that I don't like, and like in order to qualify as a leader. So there is this like definition that was twisted. Also, putting myself out there feels really vulnerable, and especially like sharing parts of me that are just not necessarily, just kind of the different parts of me. So bringing and embracing all the parts of me and sharing them and accepting them, that is what helped me to step into a higher level of leadership. Not exile parts of myself, helped bring them back home and embrace them all.
Oh, yeah. I love that. So good. I'm so glad you brought that piece. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like there's so much collaboration of possibilities that like I would never think of even talking about that. But like that's such a key piece to leadership is like we all think like, oh, well, if I'm going to be a leader, especially if I'm going to be someone that's doing 5-figure launches, or if I'm someone that has a 6-figure business, then I need to like really figure out like this thing and this thing and this thing that I'm like struggling with. It's like, you don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to be a perfect human to continue to grow and evolve. Of course, like definitely look at that stuff, you know, and like, and take your time and work on it, get the support you need, but you don't have to be perfect. So thank you so much for bringing that in. Did anyone else want to speak on that one?
Yeah, I can add to it.
Okay.
Totally resonate with Mariana, and hi everyone.
Share your name and where you're from.
Yeah. My name is Tyler. I'm in San
Diego. You can share what you do as well.
Yeah. I'm in San Diego. I'm an anti-diet dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor, and I help women leaders find food freedom and body love so they can really create the impact in their life and in business. So it's a lot of work around letting go of perfectionism and self-limiting beliefs around food and body image. And it's funny because a lot of what was keeping me back from fully showing up in my life and in business, because the two are so connected, was perfectionism and that fear of failure, of fully being seen and not being accepted. And yeah, that fear of what other people would think by the work that I was putting out there. So it's funny how the things that were kind of holding me back are also things that I coach a lot on, but in realms of food and body image. So.
Love that. Thanks. Tyler, was there anything, and I'm going to kind of like add a second question on here because I like how Mariana added it, but like what helped you be able to move through that?
Yeah. What helped me to move through it was really tapping into my heart of service and that why I was doing it. Because I noticed that the things that were holding me back, such as self-limiting beliefs and perfectionism, they were all fueled by my ego and by my inner child, my inner adolescent, kind of like throwing a temper tantrum. And then learning to differentiate when I was operating from that place, the ego, versus operating from that heart of service and that soul purpose. And immediately feeling the energetic shift, even just talking about it right now. So.
Love it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I would love to jump in as well. So my name's Bianca Fox, and I live in Southern Oregon in the woods, actually. It's pretty wild here. And I run Tiger Eye Astrology and Intuitive Guidance, but I'm also a climate justice activist, and I work a lot on like environmental protection work. And I would share that one of the greatest challenges that I've been experiencing in stepping into like new levels of leadership has been bringing all parts of myself, kind of like Mariana was starting to talk about, just really honoring that like being a leader doesn't have to be like just being this one facet or like just showing only like the good parts or like only showing what you think like is going to sell. But actually like being like, I for me, like I believe 100% in like cosmic order and spirituality, and using that to know yourself and love yourself and believe in yourself more than ever before. And I also 100% believe that what's going on in like 3D systems is completely real, and that we have an opportunity and a right to make a huge positive impact in our world, to help save our planet and help save our communities. So I'm all about like being allegiant to all parts of yourself and like every part of yourself that like you want to make active in your life. You know, like for me, I also aspire to like keep making music and keep making art, and to have all of that be part of like just who I am really 100%, and like hopefully encouraging that in other people too, that like you can be all that you are, and you can be allegiant to all the communities that you feel like are part of your people. You know, like you can have like, you can still keep all your friends and all your families and like have their back, and also be believing in yourself and also making social impact at the same time. So it's all possible, and it's all super guided right now. I truly believe in this year 2020 and beyond, you know, for us to like really bring that support from all our human people, our plants and animals and our ancestors and et cetera, and really trust that we are here on purpose to make great waves at this time.
Love that. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Love, I'm not sure if you wanted to chime into this one or not.
The sisters said a lot of same thoughts that I have. Oh, by the way, I'm Love. I am from France, and I am a coach therapist and a master energy healer. Sorry, I don't show my face because I'm sick and I don't, you know, like
All good.
looking like a zombie. But I wanted to add to the sisters that when you set big goals for yourself, all of a sudden there is so many traumas coming up, showing up, trying to block you and trying to make you stay in your comfortable zone. And this is where you have the choice of staying in your comfortable zone or just work through everything that is coming up for you by releasing and really connect with yourself in such a gentle and kind way, because the power and the force is in you, but you need to connect to it so you can rise above every little shit coming at you, because you can do it actually. It's just a shift in your mindset and really the will to do it, no matter what. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I love that piece. It's totally a choice. Awesome. So I want to ask Tyler, because I'm going to bring her up because she just actually had her 5-figure launch just a few months ago. And so Tyler, I'm curious if you could share what were like the key pieces, maybe the top 1 to 3 key pieces that you needed to be able to succeed in like getting that goal. Actually, let me backtrack, because I think it's also really important to highlight that like you did not totally believe that this goal was going to happen for like a while, right? So maybe you just share what that journey looked like of going from like what to like you actually did it, you know, and like now you're working on your next launch, and then after that we're going to be talking about like a 6-figure launch for you. So what does that journey look like?
Oh wow, it was wild, and still is, but getting used to it. I think when I decided, okay, you know, I'm going to host a virtual retreat, and I knew that I was in good hands with Ray leading me through it and kind of providing me step by step, you know, this is what you should do and what you can do. So I started, you know, chucking away at it. And next thing you know, it's like the week of the launch, and I'm just in awe of what I created. It was better than I expected in a lot of ways, because I was stretching myself. I interviewed 23 women on different topics, and then held this 7-day virtual retreat. I had a landing page for it, and then I became really inspired, and I created these like freebies along the way, like a virtual retreat toolkit and just had a lot of fun with it, really. That was kind of the more fun that I could have and be true to myself, the better it felt for me. So that was kind of my compass of when my energetics were off, was when I wasn't enjoying myself, and kind of feeling resentment towards it, and then pausing and being like, okay, what do I need to do for myself? Because I think a lot of times, especially in the beginning, we get into this hustle mode of like all these things that we have to do, and that pressure that we put on ourselves takes away from being present in the moment and really enjoying what you're doing and taking a step back and being like, wow, this is really awesome that I'm doing this.
And wait, let's highlight too, because I remember at the beginning, before we started working together, one of your like things that were coming up was like technology, and you're like, I don't know how to like do all of those like technology pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like all of a sudden she's like creating like way more than like what I even like, you know, was suggesting would be like above and beyond. She's like, oh, well, I would actually do like all of this. I'm like,
Yeah, I started having a lot of fun with it once I got over my own self-limiting belief of I'm not good with technology, and just dove right in and started experimenting with it. And yeah, there were still bumps in the road. I think that always happens when you own your own business. Tech things will come up, but yeah, it hasn't even been a year in my business, and I've jumped leaps and bounds and really growing it and creating authority for myself. And that virtual retreat was huge in doing that. And I even told myself, like, even if this launch, I don't get clients from it, or there's no monetary return, the connections I made alone were so invaluable with the women that I was able to connect with. These were women that I would follow on Instagram and be like, wow, they're really like awesome. They're doing this. This is so cool. And I reached out to so many different women. A lot of them I didn't think would agree to do the virtual retreat. And they're like, yeah, absolutely. And I was able to get some amazing women that were once people that, you know, you kind of put on a pedestal, to being their colleague and really standing alongside them. And that felt good for me to do that, because it built further belief in myself of like, I can do this. This is happening. And then what was the other part of the question, Ray?
Really, it was, I think you pretty much summed it up.
Yeah.
Just like, what did it take to succeed in like really hitting that goal?
Yeah. Yeah. That heart of service, always going back to that, was extremely helpful. And going back to my why, and really that exercise that Ray had us do, where we list out the 10 reasons why our services are amazing. And I feel like I have to do that to this day, even like every day, just remind myself, you know, what is it that I am providing? And letting go of the expectation that it would have to be 5 figures in order to be successful. Mm-hmm. And detaching from that as well, and looking at the other things that it would provide and value that maybe wasn't necessarily monetary right at that moment. And then once I let go of that stress and that worry around making the money, that's when I started making it. So it's like I just got out of being wrapped up in fears around money and being scared of it, and rather focused on what was already abundant in my life at that moment, and creating this feeling of abundance and gratitude for many facets of my life. And that really opened my heart up to receiving. And that's when the clients started coming in, because I was when I was doing my messaging, it wasn't robotic. When I did my messaging, I was like speaking straight from my heart and my soul. And that's when the people heard me, not when I was just like planning out posts. So yeah, that.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing. And it's so true. And actually, when you said, like how powerful that question is of like write out 10 things that you're offering is amazing for, or whatever the wording is, you can also do that for yourself too. Like that's super powerful. And I think there's a little bit of like societal programming around like I don't want to be like so like conceited and like in love with myself and all of that, but it's really so powerful to be writing these things down and really reconnecting with like why you're so awesome. Like not even just your offering, just your essence that you bring, just that. Love, I have a question for you, because so Love is a new client of mine. And we literally had one call, and then after one call, she sent me a message. She was like, oh my God, like soul client. She's like, is really interested in working with me. Like it was amazing and crazy. So Love, I'm curious, like what has helped you attract soul clients to like your offer? Because I think that can be a scary thing of like, what if I do all this work and like no one like comes, no one's attracted to this, no one wants this or needs this or knows of it?
First of all, I had to release the result, the outcome. I had to release the pressure of making all of this work because the bills, because the children, because I released it all, and I was like, I know I can make money because I did it already, so I can do it again, even if I'm changing the business. So I trust the universe completely and totally. And then, because I was so pumped up yesterday after our call, I set the intention that, okay, I want that after this call, I am in such an energy so high that I close a client. That's my intention. And yeah, I was pumped up. I swear I wrote a post on Facebook. It was 2 in the morning, 2 a.m. And I wrote with my heart, and I was dancing, and I was listening to Coldplay, and I was like, yeah. This is my time. This is now. I'm the boss of me. You're not my boss, my limiting beliefs. I was like, yes. I wrote from my heart. And then a client, a student of mine, sent me a message, and she was like, at 2 in the morning. And she was like, oh, Love, you forgot to tell me about your 6-month offer. I'm super interested. I jumped on the phone. It was maybe almost 3 a.m. And we just had a lovely conversation. It was easy. It was, and then I said, okay, to work with me, it's 13,000 full. And I stopped, and I stopped talking. And I was listening to her, she was speaking to herself, and I was like, and she was like, I don't have this money right now, but I need to make this work. I need to make this work. And that was so easy, right? Like, I was like, so it's actually easy to, it's not about the price. It's just about the connection.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the connection. And to know that when you have a soul client, she vibrates at the same energy than you, and she gets you and you get her. And it's so easy, and it's not about money. It's about, she knows that you're the person that will bring her results. She knows it's you and nobody else. Yeah.
So good. So you guys, we had a call yesterday. This happened in between yesterday's call and today's call.
Yeah.
Like that's how
that was crazy.
Happened.
I was so pumped up. I was like, okay, I can do it. I'm doing it.
So wild. I love it. I love it so much. I hope all of you like send me messages at 2 a.m. being like, oh my gosh, I just sold a client. That would be awesome.
Yeah, totally. They will.
Yeah, they will. Like it's not the first time. So I would love to hear, okay, so this is kind of another open question. I have a few questions. What do I want to go with? Actually, let's see. I know Petra's on here. Are you here and able to talk? I know I didn't talk to you about this earlier, but
Hey, yes, I'm here.
she's here. Okay, I have a question for you, because you're in a position where you have a corporate job and you've been doing it for a while and all of that, and now you're transitioning into creating your own business. And what did it take for you to say, like, and I know you're still in this process of like really claiming it, what has it taken thus far to be like, okay, I'm going to start my business, like I'm going to do this, and I'm going to plan that I'm going to be leaving my job in this amount of time? Like, what did it take for you to get to that point?
So,
Oh yeah, and you can introduce yourself and you can share what you do and where you are.
yeah, and I'm sorry, first of all, I'm sorry I'm not on video, but I'm using my parents' computer and I realized there's no camera. Sorry about
No worries.
yeah, so I'm originally from the Czech Republic and I live in Amsterdam where I work. And I kind of been living abroad for almost 16 years in the US, Belgium, and now the Netherlands. And I've gone through various roles, various companies, and now I work for a huge corporation with 77,000 people or so. And that was kind of like my kind of, dream that I'd work at such a big corporation. And as soon after I realized, okay, I just don't have an energy on this politics and things like that. And I want to spend energy on things that matter to me and things that are aligned more to who I am. Because what I found out was that I started to shift into that energy of the company and I started losing who I was. And so when I realized that last year, I was like, okay, this is not what I want to do. And I really want to be, I want to do, I want to do things that I always say, make my heart glow, make me happy. And I want to make a difference in people's lives. And so, but because I've been working for over 10 years in corporations, it's a big shift to change. So, like it was this week, right, Ray, that when I set my end date, that it's here, and there are some reasons for that, and that gave me a lot of freedom and just kind of like the light feeling of, okay, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't have to be in corporate forever, and I can make the shift. And actually, after we spoke, I was like, maybe it can be even earlier because I really want to have my freedom. I don't want to do the 9 to 5, 6, 7, 10, or whatever, work for somebody else and yeah, just do something, right? Where I'm not seeing also the instant kind of, seeing that I'm making a difference in somebody's life. I'm just doing a job. Okay, I'm doing great projects, but okay, whatever. But I'm not I'm not doing what I'm doing. I'm not getting that feedback, meaning how am I impacting people's lives? And that's what I work on. So I also have been thinking that I've not been good at creating the space for myself when in the corporate job. I've been very much so deep in the work that I was like, the work was more important than I. This is something that I'm shifting. And now I want to use that corporate job to actually create a space for myself and be better at giving myself the time and giving myself the me time and the space for myself. And I think this is going to be actually helpful once I go into my job. I mean, my job, my own business, right? Because I'll be able to learn this this balance that I've been struggling with for the years. And yeah, so overall, it's just giving me. I hope this helps, but it's giving me this shift. It's giving me the lighter feeling of having to go to the job because I know there's going to be end, which I'm very excited about. And by having the end date, it's actually helping me to start planning and seeing what I need to do in order to get there, and that I can transition then very well into my own business. And if it's earlier than my planned date, even better.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, I think it's so cool to highlight transition periods. I think probably a lot of you will find yourself in transition periods of going from what you're currently doing into more of like what that dream situation is, you know, making that dream amount of money, making that sort of impact, working with this dream amount of clients, with these, you know, those specific clients that you're really wanting to have relationships with. So remembering and kind of being easy on yourself during that transition time. And I think a big piece is just like starting to create that plan. If that is in your dreams, like put it on paper. Like don't wait until it's like 5 more years, 10 more years, 20 more years down the road to start planning that dream, because it does take time to cultivate. Thanks so much
Exactly.
for sharing.
Thank you. Can I just say one last thing? I don't know if there's anybody here that is actually in a corporate job, but yesterday one of my family members kind of asked me, hey, but have you heard about that? I don't know what it's called now in English, but kind of like when you leave a corporate and you're in this kind of like transition period, and then you might just get so scared that you jump onto another job, you know? People kind of revert back to being in corporate. So I think for the reason, I think the planning and the preparation of the transition period and preparing for it mentally will be very important for making the shift and not bounce back to the corporate job. Just wanted to highlight that, because that kind of like made me think about it as well. That was
That's so true. I've definitely talked and brought on and worked with clients that had their job, left their job, went back to a different job, left, and like it's a back and forth until they're like fully committed and have a game plan. So I think that's so key to highlight. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
I would love to, if anyone else, any other clients have any like last things that they would like to share with the rest of the gang here, of like any words of advice or inspiration. I would love to just kind of open that up for, you know, something short. We have like about 5 more minutes for this piece, and then we'll move into our next step.
Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Everyone jump.
Yeah, what comes to me when I hear you say that, the word of advice or inspiration is that the world is thirsty and hungry to receive your essence and to discover more of who you are and more of what you have to give. And this is something I tell myself, and I deeply believe that that's true. Like every time I see my friends on Facebook or on Instagram and they show different aspects of themselves and they put themselves out there, I'm like, oh my God, I love that so much. And I believe that we want more of each other. Yeah. And that's the gift that we have to give to the world. Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that my last word of advice, of wisdom, okay, I'm wise tonight, is that everything you desire, anything you desire already exists, but it takes from you to elevate yourself to the level of awareness that it is already here. You just have to like elevate yourself at the same frequency that your desire, because the desires are already there. You just need to be aware and conscious about their frequency, and then you reach them, and instant manifestation. Yeah, you got this.
Love that. Love that, love. Anyone else, or do we feel complete?
I just want to share
I
because
was
I'm
feeling you, Bianca. I was like, when is
Yeah.
Bianca gonna step in?
what am I brewing in? I just want to share, this is more of like a astrological and energy forecast for like the times that we're all here, and this is perfect, right? And like you're exactly always where you need to be, and you're always aligned with your destiny, and this is perfect. So just take a look around you. There may be some connections in this room that we're all just destined to make. I was actually going to encourage all of us to like drop our IG handles too, so we can also get to know each other even deeper. Yeah, and support each other in being successful and being all that we can be, which is why we're alive and why we're here at this time. Segue, the last couple of days, if you've been having any like physical symptoms or maybe like particularly high anxiety or stress, you are not alone. We just had this huge lunar total eclipse this past weekend, and it's still kind of like trickling out into all of our systems. So just trust that if you're feeling that or you have been feeling that, that's part of that's part of nature's way and all of our body's way of like shaking out the old to make way for new. So just trust the process and give yourself grace and love and compassion, and just know that like you're currently in the process. We're all currently in the process of like really big transformation, and the energies are really supporting us at this time. I'm loving the IG handles. I'm going to start to follow all of you. Yeah, much love.
Awesome. Cool. That was fun to get a little bit of that bigger perspective of what we could all be experiencing right now. Awesome. So was that helpful? Everyone that was like tuning in, was that helpful to like hear some other perspectives on all of this? Yeah, I hope so. Sometimes I've found that like guests or like other people that come in can just like say the same thing that the main person was saying, or like, you know, all my clients say very similar things to what I'm saying, but it's in their own words, and it might actually like trigger different feelings and pieces of you to activate. So it's really, really cool to see that happen. So yeah, all planets were just in alignment on one side of the sun during the eclipse and won't happen again till 2162. It's a long time away. You my Instagram too, because I don't know if I'm connected with you all. There we go. All right, so let's dive in, shall we? Let's go to the next piece, which is all around aligning your launch message to your soul client's desires. So what we need to do first is to know who your launch is for, right? We've already kind of talked about this, but this is a deeper understanding of your soul client. So you want to know who the ideal client is, understand their pains, fears, and desires, and understand what your soul client is looking to learn and what they're interested in. When you can align your own desires of what you want to bring forward, what you want to be sharing and offering with the desires of your soul client, that's when you come up with that really alluring offer that is kind of like what Love says. It's not really about the money. It's about knowing that that person is the one that's going to activate you to that desire and give you the tools, give you the resources or the strategy to get to that desire, to achieve those goals. So to dive into this a little bit, I want everyone to just write down 3 desires and 3 challenges your ideal client has. And if you haven't worked with someone, you know, this is the perfect opportunity to think about, okay, what do they want? What are they having a hard time with? If anyone has any questions around this, just let me know. But I'm going to give you like a minute and a half to do this. Yeah, the 2 prompts are write down the 3 desires and 3 challenges your ideal client has. And go ahead and wrap that up. This is definitely something that you can go into a much deeper process with, but this is all that you need for today and to kick it off. So now you have a bit of an idea. A lot of times people get stuck in like, oh, is my ideal client a woman or a man? What age they are? That's all talking and targeting their demographics, which is helpful to know. But that's kind of like an old school way of marketing, because we are not so much in boxes anymore. There's a lot of people that, for instance, are in corporate, but they're spiritual. Like, you know, there's kind of these like interesting equations, because we as humans are evolving into being more diverse and complex. And so when you can actually, of course, like you want to understand what the demographics of your ideal client is, but you also want to understand what the psychographics are. So this is more about what's happening in their minds. What are their challenges? What are their pains, fears, desires, all of that stuff. The outer container of like who they are in the world, there might be some pieces that relate. You might be able to put a demographic on it, but really if you can connect to them in their internal state from like what their soul is experiencing on a day-to-day, that's how you'll actually be able to connect with them deeper. So now we're going to look at creating your launch conversion event or your party, title, and the themes. So what you'll need are these pieces. You'll need to pick a title, a subtitle. If you're doing a multiple day thing or like a multiple day challenge or, you know, a video series or a summit, anything like that, multiple day challenge, you'll need each day's themes. And then if you're going to be having guests join you, you'll also want to create a list of all the possible guests to start reaching out to. And then the last piece that you need is really more of like the vision. Like, what's the feel that you want your party to feel like? Like when you're going to a party, is it going to be like something that's like light and outdoor? It's like a picnic, like it's really open. Or do you want it to have more of like that, like dark, like secluded, secretive vibe? this is actually a really fun way to kind of like jumpstart things. I think if you're a visual person, you can start to just imagine like, what are the colors that I want someone to see when they're seeing this like invitation. A really fun way to do this is to just create a Pinterest board with your favorite look and feel for what your launch is going to be like and some of those branded images. So I want to go through how to choose a topic for your launch. Sound good? Yeah, everyone feeling good? Cool. So how to choose a topic for your launch. You want to choose something, again, that you know inside and out, that you know really well. Like I wouldn't suggest being, you know, for me to like, let's see. Oh, if I did a launch around like the best way to cook a steak, like I literally don't know how to cook meat at all because I grew up as a vegetarian. So like if I was to do that launch, I would be like, okay, I can figure this out, right? I would like go online and I would start looking it up and I could put it together. If you feel the urge to go online to come up with the content, you're going in the wrong direction. Like source internally, and that's how you'll be able to create the best support for your people, and they'll feel that too. They'll like know that you've been through it, you know it in and out, like you can answer questions on it, you know, without going to Google. So that is really the first key. You can base it upon also what they will get out of it. So when you're choosing your topic or the title, you know, what is that main outcome that they're going to be getting out of the launch? So we can use this as an example. It was like a 5-figure launch, like how to create a 5-figure launch, 3 pillars to a 5-figure launch. Like you guys know what you're getting out of this, right? Like we're not just going to talk about like how to hold a good, I was going to say something stupid. I wasn't talking about how to make a good pizza. I obviously have food on my mind right now. But you know what I mean? Like you knew exactly what you're going to get. Katrina, can you clarify what an online launch can look like? I can visualize a party in person, but online it's hard to visualize. Is this Facebook live video thing? Yeah, so online launch, it could be via Zoom, it could be via Facebook, it could be via YouTube, like the platform you get to choose. Again, that kind of gets into more of a personal conversation that I would have to have with you to see like what strategy and what platform would work the best, but just choose one to focus on and then go from there. I hope that helps. If you have more questions, go ahead and just type them into the chat. One video is what we are referring to. A one-time video, not necessarily. It could be. Remember, like I gave you all those options of different launch strategies. So it could be like a telesummit, it could be a challenge, it could be a video series, could be a masterclass. Like there's so many different ways that you can do it. Again, it's kind of hard. I can't like share with you just like one that's going to work for everyone. It's more of a personal conversation. So I'm going to leave that into your hands for what you think would work best. And again, I'm happy to, like at the end, I'll share the opportunity that I have. And then there we might be able to go a little bit deeper into personally creating a structure and strategy. So, as you're choosing the title and the topic, again, figuring out like, okay, what are they getting out of this? And making it simple. A lot of times we want to be super creative and fun and like, wow, no one's ever heard this title before. Like that might be a challenge. Think simple over creative, okay? Clear over creative. You can also use, for a title or a topic for your launch, it can be the solution to what their biggest challenge is, whatever they're, you know, dealing with and kind of struggling with. So you can just kind of ask yourself, what is the problem that my ideal clients are dealing with? Like whatever that is, that could actually be the main part of what this launch is. You can also have it be like step 0 to the work that you're doing. So for instance, say your work is, let's go with like you're teaching yoga, because I know Jordan here is doing yoga. So what would be the first step that someone would need before they start to learn how to like deepen their yoga practice and their spiritual practice. Maybe it's something around like how to set up your at-home yoga studio, you know? And it's like you go through like, okay, you need to get a mat. You want to have like, how do you create your space to be something where you can do yoga in? Like, you know, do you need a quiet space where people aren't like, you're not in a pathway where people are walking through? You know, you can kind of think of what is that step 0 that they need before they start working with me. That's a really good way to create the launch. Or the launch topic. So the question you can ask is like, what can I help my clients with before they get started working with me? So I want you to just take a moment here to brainstorm. You probably already are, but brainstorm some titles and subtitles. You might not know if it's a title or subtitle yet, that's totally fine, but just start to get those ideas going, because I would love for each of you to at least have a list that you can choose from after this. If not, like just choose one and go for it. Does anyone have any launch titles that are coming up that they want to share in the chat? Becoming whole, body, mind, and soul. Ooh, it has a nice little ring to it. So Brian, with that, I would be curious, like it's still a little vague. I'm not sure what are they doing to become whole? And I'm not sure if, I'm not saying this that like that's not going to work. I'm just kind of curious to get a deeper understanding. Live your green dream or green your dreams. Like that, I totally get that. That's probably about like environmentalism and then like living out this like dream, like heaven on earth sort of thing. Heal yourself and the planet at the same time. Yeah, so that would be like a cool like subtitle to it. That works really well. Tyler, 3 steps to starting intuitive eating for female leaders seeking food freedom, embody love and life and business. Love it. Tyler's also worked with me on that one. So it's super clear, right? 3 steps to starting intuitive eating, and then the tagline. So if there's more that are coming in, I'll check those, but I do want to go into also the theme of your launch, which is still very similar, but this is more around like what is happening in the themes every day, or if it's a one-day thing or, you know, like an hour-long thing that you're doing, and then what is like happening every hour, every like chunk of time, beginning, middle, and end. So the way that you can do this is by either coming up and really knowing what the pillars are in your steps to get them from your ideal client from where they are when they come to you, they're at point A, and you want to get them to point B where they're, you know, receiving or overcoming or, you know, achieving their goals, right? Point A to point B. So what are those core pillars that they need to do or go through to be able to get to B? That could be a way where that can be a way that you come up with what's happening every single day, or what are those main themes that you're going through during the launch. So basically you would be outlining the main topics of your offering and turning it into, okay, day 1, 2, 3, 4, just giving like a snippet of each. That's another way you can do it. So that kind of gives you a few ideas. Either start at step 0 or do a little bit of each piece. And as you like, just choose one, set your goal, and just go for it. But really keep in mind that you're not doing this just for you, you're doing it for those clients. So what it would be a goal or a topic that your ideal client would love to go through? And then just use a simple framework to go through that. So you can also take some time now to write out some possible themes for each days. You can also write out, are there any partners that you'd want to bring in that could like add an element in? Is there a feel or design that you would like your launch to have? So go ahead and just take a moment to go through those, and I can write these all in the chat as well. So I'll just give you a minute to kind of do a little bit of a brainstorm here. So if there's anything that anyone would like to share, feel free. You can type it into the chat. Anyone want to share? Curious.
Ray, are we sharing the, like what I share the 3 steps that I'm using? Is that what?
Yeah, you can. Pretty much whatever, anything you want off of those questions, just to kind of get my eyes on them, and I can give you some feedback. Living life like a video game, a way to manage emotions effectively. Interesting. I don't really understand it, but I'm very intrigued. So, and I totally get, like, it's not for sure. Like this, we're just kind of in that process of like getting these ideas going. So I don't totally understand, and maybe this is my lack of experience with video games, and maybe your ideal client totally knows video games, but I don't understand how video games help me manage my emotions effectively. Like I'm not seeing that connection. Bianca understands you. Okay. It's my lack of experience with video games. Oh, interesting. So maybe bringing that word detachment into the title. A way to manage emotions effectively through detachment. That connects for me. Brian, becoming whole, body, mind, and soul, alignment of the Trinity. Yeah, I'm still curious on like, maybe on like when someone becomes whole, like what happens then? Like if there is alignment of the Trinity, what does that look like in life? Become your own life programmer. Cool. So we'll keep on letting those roll in. So basically what you're going to want to do is create your message for your soul client. Again, you know, we're linking it. So like for Brian, like if your ideal client was to see that, would they be like, oh yeah, I totally want that? Like that's the connection that we want to create, and the language that you're using to describe what your offering is. So you want to be able to talk to them directly and really be like, look, I understand where you're at. And so the more that you can understand what their moment to moment experiences in daily life are, the more that you'll be able to talk to them in that way. And then you can invite them to move forward with you. So it's really good to just think about like, what is, with the problems that they're experiencing, what is that like to have those problems and wake up in the morning and then go through your day? And then what is it like? Do they go to work, or do they stay at home? And then throughout the day, like what are they dealing with? Again, what are those struggles, pains, and fears and desires throughout the day, moment to moment? The more that you can understand that, the easier it'll be to really connect with them from that deeper place. So I want to give you all some launch assets, which will be amazing. And you can have this list so that way you can create all of these based off of the messaging that you get clarity around. And again, this is a process that takes time, but like the whole idea is I want you to start thinking about, okay, what does that person need and want, and how can I deliver that to them? Bianca, futurist dream school, how to use magic, astrology, and social justice to manifest your dream life and help the planet. Ooh, that's fire. I like that. I love that. Bianca, this is hot. Yes, yes. All right, so I'm going to share. I'm going to do a screen share for this next portion. We'll do Q&A at the end as well, so that way we can dive deeper if some of you are still typing some stuff out. And I see Tyler, you just shared one too. Okay. All right, here you go. So here are your launch assets that you'll create based off of the messaging. So you're going to want all of these things. This might be another $100,000 screenshot that you take. So you're going to want to have marketing, social media posts. It says see below, but that's for my clients. So that's kind of where I said there's like prompts and stuff, but you want to basically be able to have posts planned out and ready to go. And you can totally create those. And then the next piece is, oh wait, before I even go into this anymore, again, like literally I did not have any of these during my first 5-figure launch. I really need to keep saying that. These are only to help assist you in making it even better and structured and clearer and easier for you. But don't get overwhelmed by this list. Just think of it as like, oh cool, like I would love to shoot for that. So a landing page for your launch, and you can connect that to a button where someone can put in their email, and then that will add them to your email system, which takes us to number 3. Create a list specifically for your launch within your email system. I use MailChimp. That works amazing. Highly suggest it. Then you can create emails to go out before, during, and after the launch. Again, that's like the Attract Your Tribe post, the promotional post, the launch post, and then the sales post. If you can create those posts, you can take those same wording and put it into your emails that you're sending out to your email list. Like ease and simplicity, like as many times as we can do one thing and then streamline it into multiple things, that's what we're looking to do. Having branded images, Facebook covers, square images for Instagram, branded images with speakers photos. If you have partners, you can do both individual photos for them and also the whole group. And promo marketing material for your launch that you can share both on your own pages, but also you can share with those partners or guests so they can send that out to their own list, onto their own pages and all of that stuff. A landing page for your offering. Again, this one's super optional. I, even when I've had a landing page for my offering, I rarely use it because I think it's a lot easier to just connect with the person and make the sale from that connection instead of having them go through all this language. So just jump on a call is what I suggest. But if you'd like, you can do that. A Calendly link for people to book sales calls with you. A Facebook group to stay in communication with launch attendees and also for them to connect with one another, you know. And then we have a Facebook event for your launch event to help promote it. So those are all the assets that you could create if you wanted to be like a super like A+++ student. Again, like it doesn't really matter. What matters most is that you have, you know, who you want to work with and you're really confident in the work that you can offer to them and that you just take the action and you show up. So after you have everything that we've talked about thus far on the call, maybe you have a few of these launch assets. Maybe it's like one, maybe you have a handful of them. Maybe you have all of them if you really want to go there. Then the next steps that you need to take are down here. These are the steps that we don't necessarily have time to go into all together, but let me lay them out. So you want to create, post, and copy ahead of time. So that way you're not doing it during the launch. Again, that's that 3 to 4 week period where you're just preparing and creating the launch. So create your post and copy ahead of time so that way you can be prepared for the launch and do it with ease and grace. You can even hire a VA to help you with the post. Highly suggest that. This is something that I work with all my clients on. All of these pieces are what we kind of dive deep into. Build your audience online so that you can be generating a limitless amount of soul-aligned, highly qualified leads that you'll never run out of. So you want to have a system in place to continuously be building out your audience online. Next one is to have a soulful sales structure and plan to follow. The structure that I provide for my clients is called Sacred and Sexy Sales, like I mentioned earlier. The reason why this is important to have this, some sort of structure or plan to follow, is so that way you can learn to just enjoy doing sales from a place of service. So you're not like getting weighed down every time you're about to do a sale. Clients can really feel that. You want to be like excited about what you're offering, and then be able to close leads that are coming in. The next piece, yeah, I see you guys are helping each other out in the comments. I love it. The next piece is to package and price a premium high-end offer. So again, that's something that I shared earlier about. Eventually you do want to get to that point so that way you can create that consistent income and also serve your clients in that deeper way. And then number 5 is to stay connected to that big why. You heard all the women say this, you know, you need to stay connected because the road to launching, the road to business is always up and down. It's all over the place and it's a journey. It's a roller coaster. I think most people that are entrepreneurs can say like the roller coaster is so worth it when you're able to figure out how to enjoy the part going up, so that way you can like really just like ride out the part going down. And that takes time, but when you stay connected to your why, you can have that consistent follow through on what you say you're going to be doing, on the goals that you're setting, and be able to make that bigger impact with your work. You know, take that next step that will guide you to that vision for what you want in 5-10 years, or that life legacy that you want to be leaving. So we'll kind of finish most of the content on this one. This is how you have a 5-figure launch. Yeah, you guys got through it. I know it's so much content. And also, like, you guys did a lot of work while being on this call. So I just want to honor you in kind of getting through this whole thing, because there's this is a big deal that you're here. Really, not everyone is aware of even the possibility of doing a 5-figure launch. Not everyone has a dream of possibly having a business that's super sustainable, not only for them, but maybe your loved ones, your family. You know, I think there's a vision. Someone said this to me. We were talking about like, what does financial freedom really look like? And we talked about, it means being able to take care of those who came before you and those who are coming after you. And I was like, wow, I really love that. Like, really feeling into like being able to take care of maybe parents or, you know, other elders, and also take care of new generations coming in. Like, I think that's kind of this bigger vision, which becomes way bigger than just like a $10,000 launch. But when we can connect to that big, big vision, then we can start to understand and be like, okay, it's time to get over my like blocks and like my stuff around like what's holding me back just in this little step, because I got a lot more steps to go. So let's see. Yeah, so that's a big chunk of it. And really, you know, I've never worked with a client who does all of this and doesn't get results. So it's really now like I want to like pass over the baton. And Love, she's like, seriously, so good, cannot believe this is a free workshop. I know. I felt the same when I was like creating it. I'm like, this is so, so good. And you're all ready. Like, you have everything that you need. Now it's just about you like really like taking the time to implement it and like move it forward. You know, these are all the bones of your plan. And now you can implement, and then you just need to figure out and learn how to sell it. So I already shared with you, I wanted to give you all a gift at the very end. And this gift is to just hop on a call with me to talk about how to create this 5-figure launch and get it sold out. So I'm opening up some special spots for you all to jump on a call. It's going to be a 5-figure launch strategy call with me. And I'll go ahead and put the link in the comments here. Let's see. And so on this call, you know, the focus is to really have you get a better understanding of where are you currently at. I want to help you crystallize the vision for your launch and where you want to be, and then like what's really possible with your own personal situation, because I know you're all like super multifaceted. I was talking to my clients the other day. I'm like, I attract people that like love like so many different things, because that's how I am. Like, I have my coaching business. You guys see my like keyboard in the back. Like, I love my music. Like, I love travel. So like, I really feel like I don't just have one business. I don't have just like my coaching business, but I have all these different elements that I need to take into account, including like family and loved ones. Like, relationships are super important to me. So I know you all are in the same boat of like, maybe you have this other job and this relationship and like these other goals. And so I want to really help you all like crystallize what does that vision look like and what's really possible with all the pieces that you have going on. After we look at some of those ideas and your business, what I want to give you all on the call are some quick wins. So that way you can then map out the bigger plan on what to do in this next 6 months. And then lastly, just like how you can start moving forward immediately. So the call it's really designed for you to have a major breakthrough around your launch, money mindset, your purpose here on the planet, and the business that you're here to share with others. And I love you all. Like, I just looked into the comments. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like so much love in here. It's so good. Because I am super busy with my current clients right now, the spots are pretty limited. So you'll see on my calendar, like, just whoever's first, kind of like you get to grab them. When you book the call, there is like there's sort of an application where there's some questions. So if I feel like you're a good fit, then I'll keep the call. But also I will be going through the questions. And if I feel like you're actually not a good fit, maybe right now, then I'll just send you a message and we'll kind of like reschedule your spot for another time or cancel it for now and kind of like keep in touch. And I can like keep sharing some of the other stuff that I have available. It's really like nothing personal at all. I love you all so much. It's just like a matter of like making sure that I still can sleep and serve my clients, my current clients. So again, here's the link to that. And let's see. I did want to share like who it's for and who it's not for, because I think, I mean, I really I handpicked all of you to be on this call, but just to give you all clarity so that way you can know, like, if you're hearing when I'm talking about who it's for and you're like, that's me, like, then get a call with me. Let's go in, let's dive in, like, let me help you, because you're here for a reason. Like someone said there's a divine piece of timing where we're all here to connect. So this call is really not for someone who doesn't have a clear idea. It doesn't have to be all sorted out, but if you have like 10,000 ideas, that's more of a personal process you need to go through, and then I can help you out. Katrina's laughing. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I love you all, but I'm going to be real. Okay. Another who it's not for is, it's not for someone who has never worked with someone else before, in terms of like having a client. This can be a free client. Like, that's totally cool. I can help you from there. But if you've never like given your services to anyone, and like, I think most of you will probably say like, oh, well, like, I've actually done it with like friends or family because that's who I attract. But if you honestly feel like you've never given it, try it out first and then come to me. Like, yeah. Last thing, I don't think anyone on here, I really have to worry about this, but I am just going to say it in case, anything. But I really cannot work with anyone that blames others for their lack of success. And I just gotta be real and straight up with this. If this is for you, if you know that you have an amazing service to provide, you know that you're like to be of service, and maybe you just need like that little help and support and like dialing that in, getting some strategy, but also just like really seeing what that vision is, then I got you. It's for someone who's open to receiving support, ready to implement through action, and also take responsibility for their results. Like, that's super key. I'm not here to babysit anyone. I will get you amazing results, but you have to show up. And then the last piece is that it's for someone that wants to increase their income effectively, and also someone that's excited about growing their business in a soulful way, being of service, making an impact. So I hope that gives anyone clarity if they were, curious of like, is this for me or not? That's kind of why. And I will be giving a lot of like free resources and trainings, literally nothing like this. Like, you guys got like the creme de creme. Like, literally, I don't know if I'll do this again for free. But again, like, you are literally like friends and family. Like, my mom is on this call. Like, I love you, Mom. Thanks for being on here. Shout out to Mama Rose. But like, my mom's on this call, like, I like really had this intentionally created for like people that I love. Or maybe I don't know you as much, but we've like connected on social media, and I feel your vibes, and so this is for you. It was something special. But I will be giving other free little trainings and things like that within my new Facebook group. So I will post that link here. Make sure you join that. And also, that's where you guys can all connect with one another. I did also grab, in case anyone missed it, I grabbed everyone's Instagram handles and just tied them together. So let me put those in there if anyone wants to just copy and paste, so that way you can find each other. And okay, I think that is the full spiel. I'm gonna look at the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. Oh, midnight your time in Africa. If times are like super terrible, honestly, I have clients that wake up at 3 a.m. to do calls with me. I'll be serious with you guys. Like, I work with people that are super dedicated. But if like, I definitely am someone that like, I love my sleep and I need my sleep to make sure that I'm like a good functioning human being. Bianca's like, that's 100% true. Yeah. We literally have like people come on our calls and like work with me at like all crazy times. But if you absolutely cannot make one of those call times work and you are like, I need to have this call with you, Ray, then shoot me a private message and we'll see what I can do. I won't guarantee anything, but we'll see. Are there any questions? Let's go into just some Q&A, and I want to like really be, helpful and here for you guys in terms of like what's come up during this call. Is there anything that you want me to like clarify? Is there anything you want to share to just kind of get my eyeballs on it? Oh, let's also not do this in the chat. Just take yourself off mute. Come on, you guys, jump in. Jump in, I'm getting worried here.
Does it work?
Does it work?
Oh, you can hear me, yay.
Yes.
I'm just super grateful and I'm being quiet because I've got sleeping babies in my tent. Here, I'm in a tent in Africa, but I'm really, really grateful. And this is like, I don't even know what I was pushing the button to do. But this is cool, so thanks. I'm really grateful for you, and you gave me a lot of inspiration. And I don't mind being up at 1:30 a.m. when my baby's gonna start crying in 5 minutes. It was worth it, so thank you.
Oh, so happy to have you here. What a representation of showing up no matter what time it is and where you are in the world.
But I can't do it
seriously,
again.
Talk about dedication. Yeah. I love it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your dedication to being of service, because I know that's what it comes down to.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Ooh, so grateful.
Thanks, Ray. This was so helpful. Thank you for giving all this information so generously. Just really, I am so excited about my Art Journey launch. I was kind of in the launch bubble, like you were saying. And I definitely have some tools now to push it to the next level and get that product and service out into the world. I know it will be something that's very helpful and the world needs right now. And it was just the push I needed. So thank you so much.
So glad.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, stop saying thank you and give me some questions.
Okay. Let's see if I have any questions.
No pressure, but I want to be of service. You know, I want to help while I'm here. I'll take your love and all of that afterwards. I'll send you guys my address. You can send me little love things.
Hey, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I mean, we've had a talk like a couple months ago, and I told you I'm kind of like in this whole training program and still trying to figure out how it's going to show up. But kind of, I guess I'm in that process of kind of figuring out what service I want to kind of give. How would you say would be the best way to kind of go about kind of narrowing that down?
Amazing question. Yeah, you know, it takes time to figure that out, and I'm going to give you a really simple way to do it. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick for you. Basically, you can imagine like a Venn diagram. Oh, I think I know exactly where it is. One sec. Yeah, so I'll kind of chat as I'm pulling this up. The best way to go through this is to figure out, yes, I found it. Found it so fast. Awesome. Okay. So this is a page off of this large document. It's like, it has like 25 to 35 pages. And I use this with my clients. So let me show you the core of it right now. Let's see if I can make it smaller so you can see the whole thing. Maybe not. Okay. So this is, it's based off of this big kind of workbook that I have called the Life Dreamscape, creating a life based off of love and service. So here you go. You want to find where the heart is for you. Mm-hmm. So you can actually just kind of journal on, okay, do what the world needs last. So start with your passions. What are you most passionate about? Like, what excites you? What lights you up? What like turns your fire on? What turns you on? Right there. And then you want to make a whole list around what are the skills that you have developed. So again, your passions could also be like maybe some of the talents that you just had, like from being young, you know, like you just always have had naturally. The skills are the things that you've developed because of your education, your life experience, your relationships, your work experience, all of that stuff. And then the last piece is, what does the world need? I like doing this instead of being like, what does your ideal client need? Because sometimes that's like a step too far in advance. So like, what does the world need in general? And then you can kind of come up with like, okay, where do I sit in between all of this? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Is this helpful to see?
Yes, really.
Yeah. When I kind of created this, I was like, ooh, this is money. Like,
yeah, I kind of create some questions for myself to kind of, for each like little circle, and kind of bridge it all together into one and see what pops up.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. See what's there, and you'll probably come up with a few, you know, and you can just choose one to try out and then see like, okay, do I like this? Do other people like it? You know, it kind of in the beginning is a bit of just trial and error to kind of like narrow it down. And yeah. Honestly, it'll be trial and error for like the first like 5-10 years, you know, until you start to really get like, okay, this thing has momentum. Maybe it's sooner, but in my experience and working with others, this process is probably what takes the longest if you're starting from the beginning. But I also think like based off of our conversations we've had, like you have an idea. Mm-hmm. I think your idea is just really big, so you're a little bit scared to claim it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's super big.
So yeah, so like with you, like I would say, because we've had those conversations, like I would just say like, what's getting in your way of like claiming that big dream and like breaking that down? Like just, what if you just put that in the center and said like, okay, like what do I need to do to like start making that happen?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Totally got this.
I have a question. What if you have multiple businesses, and how do you focus and get clarity with launching when you have multiple businesses?
So,
for example, my teaching and my fine art.
Yeah, that's a great example. And I think there's multiple artists on here. So I would just look at different seasons and like really take that approach of like, everything's going to have its own season. Like my tomatoes are really, really delicious right now, but they're not like delicious in the fall. Like there's nothing out there, you know? So same thing with business and same thing with your other pieces, is just choosing like, okay, when's going to be the season when maybe you put the fine art, like you still do it. Maybe it's just like once a week or twice a week instead of like the everyday main focus, and focus on your business. And then get it to like plan it so that way you do a launch. And then, okay, once your launch is done and you have your enrollments, then that kind of sets you up for success to be like, okay, now I'm just, delivering to my clients. So let me now use the extra time. That will be my season for working on the fine art. And then like big picture is that you could create seasons of like even just being totally off of like, okay, maybe like you spend 2 or 3 months preparing for one launch a year, you do your one launch, and then that sets you up for the next like 6 months. Say you're delivering for 6 months, and then you have the last 3 months to just do the fine art. So like kind of like segmenting it off so that way you can be giving it your 100%. That's what I found helpful for like launching my album. And then when I was launching my album, I was kind of like a little bit more relaxed with my business. But then now all my shows got canceled because of our current situation. So I'm not playing festivals and I'm not traveling. So I was like, all right, it's the business season. Let's go for it. Let's share more. Let's ramp that up.
Oh yeah, that helps so much because like obviously this is the online business. So that just gives me the permission to just focus on that, not worry about art sales. It's about, these online classes are going to really help people when they're in quarantine and they wanted to be creative.
Totally. Because otherwise you're just going to be like running around and feeling like you're not getting anything done. And like, I would imagine that would be really stressful.
Yeah. Thanks.
Totally. Yeah, Kat?
I have a question. I'm sorry, I'm being quiet because my kids. I want to know what you think about like how this can relate. Definitely giving a service and coaching is something that I feel aligned with. But how do you feel about some things like like Patreon and like ongoing sponsorships? How do you feel about like even Bianca was talking about her activism and being supported more from a donor perspective? And is there a way that we can use kind of the same outline but also be open to receiving more in that way, more sponsorships to do like good works?
Totally. So I'm going to relate it to my album launch, which I think is a little bit different, but it's kind of like my piece of like my passion and like how I like want to give back to the world. So whatever that looks like for you, if it is like the activism work or whatever that is, you can actually still use this formula. Like I still use this formula for my launch party. So you could essentially like piece this all together for whatever you're fundraising for. And then basically the back end offer becomes actually, hey, donate to my cause or become a Patreon. I personally have a Patreon for my music, and it does well, but honestly, like for me, what I've seen is like my business, it's tiny compared to what I can do in my business. Right. I prefer to give services right, in exchange for money. That feels really good to me. Maybe it comes from like I had a lot of experience asking for money as an artist, and it can be really hard on the soul when you are in that need place of like always asking someone because you don't have it yourself. And
it almost feeds the poverty consciousness, like it almost feeds that.
Yeah, and I think we all have our own ways of doing it. So I'm really just speaking from my own perspective because I've been there, and it feels so empowering to be like, cool, like I give my services and I receive my money, and then I can put my money wherever I choose. And this is something Bianca and I actually talked about, because it was like, well, once I have this money, like I don't want a lot. What if I don't I'm not like wanting tons of money in this house and everything? It's like, well, it's up to you to be that leader to choose like, okay, where are you going to put that money? You know, are you giving it to your family, or are you giving it to this charity or this project or that? And so that's my personal take on it. But I think
Cool.
you can also pair them together. And then I know tons of people that have charities and nonprofits that are rocking as well. So I think it's really like depending on like what is your soul moving you towards, and what do you believe in most? Because whatever you believe in most, you'll put it into action. You'll make it work. I'm curious what Bianca has to say about this too, because we've had lots of conversations around it.
Yeah, you know, a term that comes up for me a lot is minimalist abundance. So like for me personally, and everyone's going to be different, but there's a way that like I want abundance, but I also really want a simple lifestyle. I don't want more responsibility than I can handle. I don't know if any of y'all have really experienced that, but like having greater acreage also means like more land to tend, for example. There's like really just like a right amount that I want, and then like the rest, like I just really want to like create like abundance for the rest of the world, or like or just be aware of the abundance that's already all around me. And so yeah, I think that's a big part of this, is just like it's just having like enough and having all that you want, right? But then having like the rest of it be able to like generously fountain off of you toward all the people that you love.
So if I can just add one more thing on this, now that you both have really given me some clarity, and I'm really grateful, is what I'm receiving right now intuitively is like there's a lot of energy surrounding, like globally surrounding the corruption within like nonprofits and NGOs and charities, and like just the integrity and the purity. And I'm just feeling like it's a season to where even us with really clear and golden intentions to give back can really purify that by really earning it in some way ourselves, and really just trying to empower ourselves with that for this season. Like you were saying, Ray, like maybe there's a season in the future where now that people are recognizing us and seeing what we're already doing, where we can attract more, you know, of a donation type thing. But for now, as we really kind of like qualify ourselves almost and show what we can do, it's a time maybe for more really earning that. So thanks for clarifying that, both of you. I'm really grateful for that.
I got joy bumps while you were talking about that.
I love joy bumps.
Me too.
I'm gonna mute myself now, or else no one will get to talk.
Yeah, I got a question. So if you haven't really done group coaching, I've only really done one-on-one coaching up to this point, and I want to launch something for group coaching, would it make sense to do some sort of beta program or pay what you can to kind of test those waters out, or just go for it?
Just go for it. Absolutely.
Awesome.
You're like, okay. Did you just need a little permission slip?
Yeah, it made me giggle.
Yeah, totally. Just go for it. You've got it. And like, of course, there's going to be its own challenges that come up as a group. But if you can just resort to, remember, like anytime that you've been in a group, like we've all been in group settings before, and like the dynamics that need to happen. Like it's almost like you can remember like what school's like, you know? And so it's just like, okay, like, you know, not everyone talk at once, like respect one another. Let's create safety in this container. Like I know you, and I know you already know these like pieces. So just making sure you just outline that in the beginning, probably similar to what you would do in a one-on-one, just in a group. And as you are hosting your group, you're really like creating a bigger capacity of what you can hold. It's more about your energetics and just being like, I got you guys, like I'm here.
I think that's the piece that maybe I have resistance to.
You can work through that.
Yeah.
That's not a hard.
Got it.
Yeah. You totally got it. Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of coaches say build up your one-on-ones first and then do group. I think this is true for some people. For me, I wanted to do group. I was used to teaching. I grew up teaching dance and music and theater. So I was like, I love group dynamics. So I went straight to groups and then actually built out my one-on-one. So you can kind of just choose what is your personal choice, and what is the background that you have. Like if you feel comfortable with groups, then go for it. It'll be exponential because everyone gets to learn from one another, just like in this container, you know, how helpful it is to like see what other people are saying and get those other ideas. Of course, the one-on-one is invaluable because it's that direct line of connection, and support, but also you can be making a bigger impact, in terms of how many people you're able to hold space for with the groups.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
Yeah. Any other questions? Curious if anyone else had any other like questions around like their launch specifically or any of those components. Maybe someone's going back and forth on like who their ideal client is, or what their title or theme should be. I would love to hear from someone that hasn't spoken yet. Or if you have spoken, you can talk too. Your mic isn't working. You can ask your question on the chat if you'd like. Okay. Anyone else? Oh, Mom, I think you're talking, but you're muted.
Okay, I have a question. So if you have two different types of clients, how do you deal with that? Like I have, like for my art business, I have my, as you know, like my teenager client. And then I have like the older demographic, somebody that's like maybe retired or they're in a part of their life where they want to be more creative and open up to that. So it's like two different ends of the spectrum.
But they both have two different, they would come to you and work with you in two different capacities, right?
Yeah, totally.
So
Because the younger people want to go to art school and like their whole future's above that, ahead of them, where the older demographic, they want it for their own sole purpose. Yeah.
So it's okay to have two. You just don't want to have two for the same offering.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, so you just want to focus on like, what are you launching? Ideally, like for this to work, you would be choosing one thing that you're focusing on, one thing that you're launching, one audience that you're talking to.
That simplifies things.
And the cool thing is like, if you do have two, if you just choose one, that doesn't mean that like you'll be telling like maybe older people that are wanting to get into art and learn for just fun, or even maybe just buy fine art. You won't, if you're talking to like the younger people that are wanting to get into like college or start their professional careers, you'll still be able to attract the others. And so again, just think of it seasonally. And so maybe you're focusing on that now, and then the next 3 months you focus on your older demographics. That doesn't mean still that they'll connect, like the younger ones will still come to you as well.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the older demographic for this particular product.
Mm-hmm.
But it might attract some younger ones, and I can repackage it to the younger group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. If you just like build out the core of your business with one in mind, especially like the online part, then you can always adjust it and tweak it to be able to deliver it to others. So
That's
I'll give you like my business, for example. It started off like purely working with women, but I'm still teaching the same thing. It's not like men can't get use from this, right? Like guys that are on this call, like it's good for you too, right? So, so there can always be like little pivot points. Like it was this last year where I started to be like, okay, like now I can work with men as well. Like I'm just going to change a little bit of my language. So it's more around like, what does the human want? Of course, I still attract like mostly women, but it's open.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Good example.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I would love to hear just some of the takeaways. So a practice that I have after any call and what I teach all my clients is to write down your 3 biggest takeaways and also your 3 action items that you're taking from this call. So I'd love for you all to go ahead and just take a moment to do so, and then we'll go around and kind of share what your biggest takeaways were, and then we'll wrap off with that. So feel free to unmute yourself whenever you're ready to share. We'll popcorn around. I'll keep sipping on my launch juice, aka my kombucha. This is day 2 of this workshop because I did yesterday with my clients, and I was like, you know what? This is my launch juice, kombucha in a wine glass. It's the way to go, guys. Makes it feel like celebration.
All right. So I think 2 of the biggest takeaways for me were answering the 10 reasons why your offering would be valuable. And also my ideal client, their 3 desires and challenges, because I think what that's doing is kind of like you're already putting yourself into the future and kind of building this vision and the experiences around how you're going to affect other people. And I think, learning a lot about like the law of attraction and stuff like that, having that vision is what really kind of helps propel you forward to making that a reality. So I thought that was really, really valuable. And also the life dreamscape that you told me about too. That's the 3rd one. So thank you for those.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
For me, the takeaways are that it's very similar to what I already know, which is event production. A lot of what's been mentioned is just, it's all there, except that I looked at it from a different lens. So this added my second takeaway is it added some sub steps or some pieces that, maybe are more are just kind of implicit to doing an event, but this kind of takes it to via different perspectives. And it's not necessarily something that happens once that only lasts for a few hours. It can be something that's more extended, and there can be different ways that people are involved. And so, yeah, this had a few dimensions and a little bit of kind of widened the field for me.
Cool. That's awesome. Looking forward to seeing what you create.
It's a board game on attachment theory. That's what I'm working on right now. With my partner Kaine, who's also on the call.
Cool. Amazing. Well, it seems like you'll have to connect with Vic on that unattachment stuff. Maybe there's a collaboration there. Brian said, my biggest takeaways are I can do this, structure is key, my work is more important than me.
I'll share my takeaway. Oh.
No, you haven't spoken. You.
Thank you, Ev. Thank you so much, Ray, for this. What I particularly loved about this is going through like the timeline and the planning. I really liked how you kind of like broke that down by the weeks, and I think that really creates like a clear container for like the progress, like in the process. And I also really enjoyed the consideration of the 3 desires and the challenges, because I think that also correlates with, of course, your ideal clients, but then also how we can incorporate that within ourselves, like our own personal connection with these desires and the challenges, which makes the work, of course, this work is personal, but it even creates a more, intimate connection and a reminder of like the drive behind the reasoning for this purpose of service. So, yeah, thank you.
Love those. Oh, you're muted again.
Okay, so my takeaways, I agree with Bianca. I mean, I really got a lot out of that timeline, instead of thinking that everything is so urgent and it needs to be done all at once, to really give yourself ample time and to organize your launch material and your content in, in a logical, strategic way, so you can actually be more realistic about it. I think that really helped. I always feel like I have to do everything all at once and it becomes overwhelming. So that was huge. And then also I really got a lot out of your offering price, like how to price your offering by taking the amount that you feel you need and divide it by the clients. I've never heard of that formula before. That was really cool. Yeah, very helpful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There was, what was your first takeaway again?
My first one was giving myself ample time to do my launch.
So this is something that I like to ask myself, and I'll ask you all, is like, if you knew the launch was going to be successful, how much time would you give yourself? And how would that process be? Like, if you knew it was successful, like make it 8 weeks instead of 4, where you're like stressing out the whole time during it, like enjoy the process. If you knew that it was going to be 100% successful, which is what your mindset, what you can coach on yourself for your mindset to be like, okay, this is going to be 100% like total success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why rush it? Mm-hmm. And it's probably some belief system that I have, that's really getting in the way. Like I'm not going fast enough, and that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that gets in people's way, where it just takes time to plan this out and, work on it. Yeah. And then like how you said, to organize the content ahead of launching versus, like, oh my gosh, I'm launched. I have to create content. Like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. Vic said his 3 takeaways are having 3 weeks for sales, connecting to what the client will get out of it, and the non-negotiables for a 5-figure launch and 6-figure business. Very cool. Let's see, Kim, Katrina, iPhone. I don't know who iPhone is, but would love to hear your 3 takeaways as we complete.
I have. Can I share my the second one you said, not the takeaways? What was it? My action steps. Can I share those ones?
Totally.
So my first one was to open my heart to my own potential and to stay empowered, and just kind of keep remembering and don't let the momentum. Keep it there, and to persevere and keep sharing and stay consistent, so similar. And then to find and keep my own ongoing joy. And although I already feel like I try my best to embody what I offer and what I teach, I think just really continuing on that and not letting myself get too complacent and really deepening the journey that I'm offering and being willing to continue that path myself and not just be like, oh, did my work, I saw my shadow, your turn. But like, keeping on that path. And so I think all of those kind of come into persevering, and you've really inspired that willingness to just fucking go for it, man. Just do it. Just do it. Just go. So thanks.
Love that. Awesome.
Yeah, hi, Ray. I think for me, my 3 takeaways are definitely the timeline, thinking about who my ideal client would be, and also a big one was that the value of your offering isn't the same as the value of your worth. I think that was massive of being able to separate those two things.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I know for me, when I heard it for the first time and then it started to click, I was like, oh, wow, that's like totally not what I've been doing. I've been putting myself way too far into like, if this is going to work, I'm going to be an amazing human. If this doesn't work, that means like I'm a really crappy human. And like, that's a really hard way to do business because it's not going to work all the time. And that's just the real part of it, So being able to have support systems, friends, family, teams, coaches, whatever on your side during the ups and downs so you can kind of continue to move through it. That's when you'll find, as long as you keep going, at some point you'll hit that exponential. We don't know when that will happen, but if you keep going and taking all the little steps every single day, it will happen. Thanks for sharing. Let's see. Mariana, do you want to share your biggest takeaways?
Let's see. Yeah, I was just, doing the exercises along the way and like mapped out the lunch and just received some channeling on my offer and I've been just working while you were sharing with us, and that's been really useful and powerful.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. I think that was everyone. Oh, wait, we got one more. Who is iPhone? iPhone, what is your name? I'm like, Blake. Oh, hey. Awesome. That's so funny. So your 3 takeaways, the 3 challenges and goals of clients, being okay with non-attachment to monetary outcomes because it provides a potent exercise for one to practice. It's beautiful because it's being of service, and I think when being in service, you'll be rewarded with faith, even if it's not the timeline you thought it would be, and how much you engaged us. Awesome, Blake. Well, I love those takeaways. All right, everyone. Well, this was truly a treat to be able to share this with you all and to spend this afternoon with you. I'm really excited to see what this sparks. I know that for some of you, it might spark something immediately, kind of what Love experienced with me yesterday. And so if you do have like something epic happen to you, please let me know. Like, I'm super curious, like it's all a test, everything. Like, throw something out there, see how it works. This I've thrown out there multiple times, so I know it works pretty well, but I'm always curious to see how someone will take it and bring it into what they're doing. Also know that like this might spark something internally that you're not even aware of right now, and you might understand it. The pieces might come together down the line, and really similar to what actually Blake said, like letting go of the timeline of what this looks like. And if you just devote to being of service, following your heart, following your passions, and really like listening to where you need to be, who you need to talk to, like that's it. scrap everything I shared with you and just follow that. That's what's going to guide you to whatever goals it is, whether it's a 5-figure launch or a launch where you get 5 people in for free, like, or it's a $5 million launch, like literally anything. Katrina said, I actually have a potential client asking me questions right now after a super simple and inspired Facebook post. Like, what? See, I love that. Some of you, things will start popping immediately. So keep me posted. Let us know what's happening in the group. This Facebook group is like brand new. Like, I'm opening this up for the first time. So you all are really like the first people that can be in it and connect with one another. So share your wins in there and share your celebrations with one another. The more that we talk about it, the more that we share, the more that it will start to multiply, which is really fun. Wins and celebrations, like there's no size to them. Like if you're like, oh my gosh, like I came up with the title of my launch, or like I chose my date and I like decided I'm going to stick to it. Those are huge wins, huge celebrations. So don't ever like rate your celebrations in a way of like big or small. So we'll go ahead and finish off with that. I love you all so dearly. I'm excited to see what gets created, and let's definitely keep in touch. All right, big blessings. Everyone enjoy your summers. I'll talk to you all soon.
Bye, thank you, love you.
I'm gonna do a little photo real quick, actually. Everyone smile. If you can get on the screen, do it. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Love you. Oh,
question.
wait, came on for a second.
Would it be possible to get access to the recording? Because kind of missed the first half hour.
Oh, you're another one that's begging me. Fine.
I'm one of those. Please. Yeah.
I will. It was really good.
I won't share it with anybody else.
You know what? I think I'm just going to open it because, like I said, there's like, I don't want to hold this. I really just mostly wanted people to be on here live. I'm sure you can all attest, when you're here in the energy, like you're able to really soak it in more. But what do you guys think? Should we open it up to other people and let them see the goods? Should we share it?
You can do another one too, if you want.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
You were right on. I mean, you never stopped. Woo, boom, boom, boom.
There's a lot to deliver. Okay. I think we'll share it. So I'll send you guys the recording, and feel free to send it. I'm not picky with that sort of stuff. Send it off to whoever needs it. And yeah, spread the goods. Let's do it. It's summertime, like summer of love. Give all the information. Everyone can start their own businesses, do their things.
We need that. The world needs that.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, my internet is getting unstable right on cue, so I think this is the time. I'll see y'all later.
Nice to meet you all. It was good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, Mariana.
Hi, Bianca.